what makes St. Jude so magical.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Doctors send us the toughest cases to be treated at St. Jude, and our patients come from all over the world.
When we come here, they told me, don't worry, everything's being taken care of.
We could never repay St. Jude for what they've given us.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Have you decided which TV you want to buy?
No, not really.
What about going to video only?
Well, I know they've got the best deals on the top-rated TVs, but I'm just looking for something basic and simple.
Oh, like a 32-inch TV for $169, or a 40-inch TV for $249.
Yeah, like that.
Or a 32-inch smart TV for $239, or a 40-inch smart TV for $349.
Now you're talking. Now, are those prices online or at the Warehouse Club?
Oh, no, those prices are at video only. They've got deals on budget price TVs, just like they do on the top-of-the-line models.
Really? Deals on budget and high-priced TVs?
Yeah, check them out, or...
I'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on HD TVs, Blu-rays, cameras, camcorders, and home theater systems. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Eugene, next to Costco. Video Only.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. October retail sales rose 0.1%. That was shy of economists' estimates for a gain of 0.3. We're also watching today for the preliminary look at consumer sentiment for the month of November in a report from the University of Michigan. Stock index futures are slipping as investors weigh yesterday's rout in commodities against the prospects of the first potential rise in interest rates since 2006. Shares of Nordstrom are plummeting before the opening bell. The retailer cut its forecast and posted quarterly sales that missed analyst targets. But Yum Brands is higher before the opening bell after saying that same-store sales at its restaurants in China grew an estimated 5% last month. Yum owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. Crude oil this morning is down about 1/4%. It is under $42 a barrel. Investors are taking stock of a lower Wall Street close yesterday with losses of almost 1.5%. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
See, I'd like something bouncier in terms of music for this.
Oh, I thought you were talking about mattresses.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, the Tempur-Pedic, that's one thing. If you ever get a Tempur-Pedic mattress, they don't bounce. You fall on the thing, and you don't move. You just sink into the thing. It's almost like it's the opposite of anti-gravity. That said, mattress price war is going on right now at Sleep Train, and that means you're going to save a ton of dough. Through Sunday, you can save up to $400 on Simmons Beauty Rest and Sealy Posturepedic, $500 on Stearns & Foster, make that $600, and save up to $300 on the Tempur-Pedic Breeze collection. You can also add an immovable base or a movable base, and you get a Visa gift card worth up to $300 and all sorts of other good stuff, including 4-year interest-free financing. So head into Sleep Train by Sunday, save a bunch of money, and then you're going to be sleeping better, and you will come down and thank us for it, potentially even bringing pie.
How great would it be to have a bunk bed with a Tempur-Pedic atop, and then a bed perpendicular, you know how you have it sticking out, and you could have like a nice fluffy so you could kind of jump down. I'm already thinking about, a bunk for Sid. But if you are trying to maybe think out of the box and kind of, just think about a mattress for the first time in a long time, do yourself a favor, your body a favor, and check out Sleep Train today. I'm thinking the next couple of days, you definitely want to go. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, they're your ticket to a better night's sleep in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell them you like this with the wake-up call.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
6:29, 10 seconds away from a whole contingency of folks getting up at 6:30, where you've already been up for, hour and a half, already had your eggs and had your run. Look at you, ready to start the day and start the weekend, too. A lot of things going on. I'll just kind of plant the seed. If you have an opportunity to stop by, we're doing Stuff the Bus, a 2-day campaign to raise food and toys and money for Food for Lane County and Toys for Tots. Right now, we're at the, K-Duck is hanging out with Chino and Amanda at the Olympic Walmart, and they'll be there till 1 o'clock. And then Val and I will be hanging out at Delta later today. Tomorrow, Val and I will be at the West 11th Walmart from about 2 o'clock on to 8. So if you have the opportunity to come by, it's our 20th, I say ours, the station. I haven't been there all 20. Our 20th campaign, and so they have 2 LTD buses out there. So we have our challenge upon us, and we could use some help.
Do the Marines show up in their dress blues out there, or do they wear their more informal khaki?
No.
Really?
Dress blues.
Nice. Did we have the Marines in yesterday while I was gone, or the day before?
We did not. They typically are very hard to get a hold of because they are just working very diligently, we'll say.
It's a very cool thing that they do, Toys for Tots. So, pick up a toy, give it to a kid who maybe wouldn't be having much of a Christmas otherwise. It's a cool thing. Brady and I, we haven't done that for a while. We need to do that this year.
It's a good teaching moment for
the trees.
Kids.
The trees of giving. Done that a bunch in the past. Go down and you'll see them in a variety of places. A lot of times,
Valley River Center has one.
Right, boys. I mean, different groups do them. Boys and Girls Club. Vina Moses is the one that typically does it in the Corvallis area, and go in there and get a little. It's kind of like a little paper ornament, and it says, you need a toy for a 6-year-old boy or something like that. So then you go shopping, and it's pretty fun. So anyway, avail yourself of that opportunity and make a kid's Christmas.
You got a couple other things, too, going on. KPNW, Gunrunner Arms, presenting the 2nd Annual Emergency Responder of the Year and Veteran of the Year. If you want to nominate a deserving individual or you know what? I don't think it says you can't nominate yourself. Grand prize winners, going to get some pretty cool stuff. The Emergency Responder of the Year will win a Henry Limited Edition lever action, specially engraved 22.
Which is pretty awesome. And then the Veteran of the Year gets the 12-gauge Duck Dynasty Mossberg Special Edition, which is worth about $930. The Henry, I think, is about $1,000. So it's a couple of cool things. You can stop by, of course, out at either Max at the Vets Club, which is where you can sign up, at least here in the Eugene, or head on out to Junction City and nominate your favorite person just by going into Gunrunner Arms out there on Highway 99, just as you're getting into the Junction City area.
So while we have a second, do you mind sharing where and what you've been dealing with the last couple of days?
Sure. So my mom, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you know that my mom passed away. Or, well, you know that my mom was having difficulties. And Mom finally passed away after dealing with Parkinson's, a broken hip and the like, Tuesday night at 8:24. And if you could call it this, I would have to say that it was what I would refer to as a lovely death. Very quiet. There was no pain. She was surrounded by her family, my brother, me, her grandchildren, her husband of 64 years, my dad. And it just was very calm, just slowly breathing, and then, it stopped. And like I said, it was what I would refer to as a lovely death because there was no pain. She wasn't struggling. It was very calm. And it was just, it's a part of life, but it was very peaceful, which, thank goodness. So that was why the last few days taking it off. And, you know, it was, I mean, we hugged. I mean, obviously we cried. We got to say our goodbyes. The hardest part, really, about the whole thing was when the funeral home came in to retrieve Mom. And I got to say, the folks, has to be one of the worst jobs in the world. Because as I'm standing here watching this, I'm even considering it's like, what a horrible job that these people have. Because obviously everybody in the family is standing there watching every move that they make, every blink of the eye, every breath they take, everything that they do, they're watching. And, you know, I definitely had a certain amount of empathy for that. But that was the hardest part, I think, because, you know, you think, all right, this is 87 years of accumulated knowledge, of experiences, of just life and history and the things they've seen and the people that they've known and the things that they've done in their life. And there's a real finality when you stand there and watch somebody wrapped in a sheet, put in a soccer mom van, and driven off. It's very, I mean, it has, my brother put it best. He said there was an abrupt finality to it. And it was very abrupt and it was very final, and you just sort of go, that's it? But, like I said, she passed in a very peaceful way, and she had the people who loved her around her. What more could you ask for? Really? It was, you know, and the thing was, and you'd have to know my mom to get this, but she was very, she had a very subversively inappropriate sense of humor. I mean, she did, but her humor would be the type that she would let everybody else kind of, you know, use all of their best material, and then she would come in with a topper and cripple everybody and just walk out of the room. That was just kind of the way that she did it. And so here we are. I mean, it's a couple of hours after she's passed. We're waiting for, you know, the folks to come to to come pick her up, and my brother and my niece and I are sitting in the living room, and we get into this conversation that even my brother pointed out, what kind of awful people are we? Because our mom is in the other room, and we're sitting here just absolutely in tears laughing because my niece says that she has the inability to audibly break wind. And we're laughing about this, and so my brother and I decided that it would be a good thing if we showed her exactly how one
at that moment.
Yeah, at that moment actually performs that in the different ways that can be done, and with different timbers and so on and so forth. And I mean, we are absolutely in tears, and that's when my brother said, you know, what kind of horrible people are we that we're doing this? And it was so perfectly Mom. Mom would have been right there in the middle of that, laughing with us. And then probably at one point or another, you know, I mean, I can just imagine, you know, Mom saying, well, this is how a lady does that. And it would have killed all of us. So, I mean, we had a wonderful laugh. And like I said, it was so appropriately inappropriate for my mom, and she would have been absolutely in hysterics. One of the things that my brother and I were discussing the other day was that, you know how they always do the thing in the obituaries where they say, you know, send flowers or cards to such and such memorial or whatever. And we decided that, you know, don't send flowers, don't send cards. Bake some cookies and share them with your friends and your family. Because Mom would have loved that. She always was baking cookies or bread for somebody. And so that's one of the things we decided when we write the obituary. It's don't send cards, don't send flowers, bake some cookie for your families and friends.
That, by the way, is awesome. If that's a reflection of who she was and the kinds of things that she'd appreciate, that's really cool.
So, anyway, so that's where I've been. It's 6:40. It's News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Take your classic or modern ride to a whole new level with a speed shop at Metalworks. Get full access to Holley, MSC, Edelbrock, Willwood, Art Morrison, GM Performance Engines, and more at guaranteed low prices. At Metalworks, we have performance and restoration experts on site to help you down the road. We're off West 11th at 1045 Aerosmith Street in Eugene. Take our website for a spin at metalworksclassics.com. Metalworks. Build your dream.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Friendly people who treat you right.
Here's an article about a new kind of TV, a 4K TV.
Yeah, those TVs have new panels with 4 times the number of color dots as standard TVs.
So more color dots means?
More detail, even when you get up close to the screen.
Oh, like a computer monitor?
Yep, and they convert regular TV signals into the new ultra-definition pictures. There's even some movies and programs now on the internet in 4K, and they look great.
Wait a minute, where did you learn all this?
At Video Only. They've got the best selection in town of the new 4K TVs, even those with curved screens.
Oh, this sounds interesting. Let's check out these new 4K TVs at Video Only, or...
We'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on HD TVs, Blu-rays, cameras, camcorders, and home theater systems. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't...
You'll be sorry.
In Eugene, next to Costco. Video Only.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW 641. There's some standing water out there, particularly on the Delta, I noticed this morning, so be careful on your way in as you're traversing wherever it is you happen to be going. All right, well, if you have been following the news at all, the Justice Department now is fearing that the nation's biggest wiretapping operation may not be legal. Federal drug agents have built a fairly massive wiretapping operation in the L.A. suburbs, and they've been secretly intercepting tens of thousands of Americans' phone calls and text messages to, they say, monitor drug traffickers across the U.S. despite objections from the Justice Department lawyers who are saying now it may not be legal. To talk about that, a former assistant district attorney turned criminal defense and trial lawyer, Yodit Tuwode, joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Yodit, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. All right, so... I mean, how does one go about, because I think most folks, myself included, have always been operating under this, what obviously is a misinterpretation of the law that says that, you know, wiretaps are supposed to be these individual things as opposed to these just wide net phishing operations, which is what it appears they are now. I mean, what is the justification legally that can be used for this type of wiretapping?
Well, in order to get a warrant authorizing interception of communication, the agent needs to show probable cause that the interception will reveal evidence that an individual is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a particular offense. That is first and foremost, to get that probable cause established. Then there are other requirements that are needed in order to get a judge to grant a wiretapping. And that's, I guess, one of the issues. Actually, no, it is an issue in the Riverside, where agents are bypassing the federal requirements and going straight to state courts to get the judges to sign off on these, because these federal requirements have additional constitutional requirements in order to get a wiretap application approved. So it's definitely a rigorous application process, because it should be the tool of last resort and should not be used if there are other methods of investigation that could reasonably be used. I mean, if you think of the idea of surveillance, it's a completely intrusive manner in which to get evidence. And so you have to protect people's Fourth Amendment right and the right to privacy.
Okay, but I mean, in some ways you didn't really answer the question, which is, we feel like, or, we're led to believe, and you even said at the beginning that, an individual, we're not talking about individuals here, we're talking about casting a huge net of tens of thousands of phone calls and emails. We're talking about hundreds of people. How does one go about, legally justifying, well, we're just going to tap thousands of people's phones here and try and catch somebody? That's a fishing expedition. That's not necessarily an investigation, at least the way that I understand the law. Is that correct or incorrect?
Well, you have to understand that once a law enforcement agent believes that they need to have a wiretap, they might have gotten information from an informant, for example, and followed up on that and said, you know what, we have enough probable cause here to say that this individual is tied to this crime and it's tied to this area, and we need to go ahead and surveillance this individual, but we need to get a court order. So in that court order, first, the agent has to have an affidavit that establishes probable cause that a crime is being committed. That's first and foremost. Then the application needs to be done by a prosecutor. And in that application, it must inform the judge of any prior applications involving those same individuals, that facility or place that they want to survey, whether the applications in the past against these individuals have been granted or denied. They have to let the judge know what the certain crime that they are suspecting is being committed or has committed or is going to be committed in the future. And they need a wiretap in order to retrieve this information. That all needs to be done. And when, let's just say, the judge grants this order, the judge is authorized to get them to write a report every 10 days, because that order is only good for 30 days. Within 10 days of that order, they need to have a report to that judge to show the judge where in the process they are, just so that judge can understand and assess how reasonable it is for this surveillance. That shed any light.
So this particular judge or number of judges actually signed, at least according to the information and what you're saying, actually signed 44,000 of these orders, because they were actually eavesdropping on and recording and intercepting the conversations of 44,000 people.
Right. I think you said 44,000. Right, exactly. 44,000 people.
Right.
Now, you have to understand, this judge was designated as the judge to sign off on these applications. No other judge was. So, of course, they're all going to him. Now, there are federal judges, but again, in order to get a federal judge to sign off on that, then you have to go through that rigorous process that the federal government requires of you, and they don't do that. So he's going to get all of the requests that these agents are sending his way, because he is a designated judge for that.
All right, supposedly they were making, they being the investigators into this in Riverside down in Los Angeles. They're making arrests as far as away as New York and Virginia. In your mind, you're a defense attorney, where do they break the law in this?
Well, there is a new DA now in that county, and that DA is going to restrict the wiretaps to information that is specifically connected to that county. So they're trying to expand the surveillance issue, so to speak, to other parts, and that can't be the case. Now, if they're going to be surveying a certain area because they believe that that's where it needs to be done, and I can totally understand with California being there next to Mexico with the drug trafficking opportunities. If they're going to go and do that, then they have to restrict their investigation to just that. Now, what they're doing is they're finding out information about drug traffickers in other parts, and they're handing off that information to law enforcement in other areas to get these people arrested. However, that's not appropriate in terms of possibly violating someone's due process. Because if an agent gives a police officer a heads up about a drug exchange, and he says, hey, officer, I need you to be at a certain truck stop at a certain time looking for a certain vehicle with a certain plate number driven by a certain individual, then all of a sudden 20 pounds of drugs are found, Well, that officer is not going to be able to say, well, hey, you know, the DEA gave me a tip, because that information could compromise an ongoing pending investigation, right? So that officer has to create some sort of legal justification for why he even stopped that particular car. So he'll say something like, you know what, he had a back-burned headlight. Well, that's a traffic violation. Well, that's a legal justification for why he stopped the individual. But my concern is, as a defense attorney, is that in the report it's going to state that they were stopped for a headlight. How am I to know that there was a wiretap operation going on? So if I don't know that there's a wiretap tap operation, then how can I challenge evidence that comes in based on that tip? That is my concern, and that is a violation of due process.
All right. Yodit, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Yodit Tawodate on the Wake Up Call, former DA, criminal defense attorney, and trial lawyer on the Wake Up Call this morning, talking about the Justice Department and pretty huge wiretapping operation and the questions of its legality or not. 6:50 now, News Radio 1120 KPNW. Okay, so the holiday season is here, and Guarantee Chevrolet is saluting all the folks here in the Willamette Valley that are out there doing the hard work and preparing for the holidays. And Guarantee is also out there to help with the Good People, Bad Credit program, designed to help hardworking people who need a hand because they've been swamped by medical bills or student loans or other financial setbacks during the course of the recession. And basically, they can help people get a quality, safe, reliable vehicle in 48 hours or less, and then they'll stand beside those folks every mile of the road to help reestablish your credit so that you can get back onto the road to financial recovery. So if you've had some late payments, maybe even a foreclosure, it's an opportunity to help out. It is the Good People, Bad Credit program at Guarantee Chevrolet. Give them a call at 541-998-2323 or make that 998-2333. That's 541-998-2333. If you're a good person with bad credit, give Guarantee a call.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean, without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack, when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And if saving money and a clean shave isn't incentive enough, Harry's will give you their starter set, complete with a razor, 3 of their world-famous blades, and shaving cream for just $15. And shipping is always free. We'll also give you $5 off your first order. Our way of saying thank you for trying us. How are we able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures them. That's how. So go to harrys.com right now and enter code 5533 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5533.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Here's how it works, Mary. You tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades, and I'll use my powers of prognostication to predict your path. Still game?
I'm game.
While riding the train, do you A, relax in your seat, or B, visit the bistro car?
Relax in my seat.
Catch some Z's, or be productive?
Be productive.
Open a book or your laptop?
Laptop.
Email or blog?
Blog.
Okay, here goes. While blogging in your comfy leather chair, you're moved by the sweeping views of the mossy megalopolis that is Oregon. You start building tiny train terrariums with native moss and even make punny t-shirts like, don't forget to moss.
Wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah, it's a gift. Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I reported that according to research done at Cambridge University, kids' financial habits are largely set by the time they're 7 years old, and that other work done at the University of Wisconsin suggests that 3-year-olds can begin to learn basic money concepts. That means kids' lack of understanding of the rudiments of personal finance is really their parents' fault, though the schools don't do much to mitigate the problem. Parents who are financially illiterate don't know where to start when teaching their own kids about money management, especially if the example they're setting is overspending, instant gratification, and lurching from crisis to crisis because they don't have savings. Here's the nugget. A website called moneyasYouGrow.org has basic and easily understood information for teaching kids about money. It's broken into 5 modules, grouped by age, starting from 3 to 5 and ending at over 18. It's easy to understand, and many parents could learn a thing or two from it themselves. A product of a federal program, it looks like a good use of taxes to me. Another source of basics geared to adults is a class called Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. It's Christian-based and can be found through many churches. But even the ungodly might learn an ungodly amount. Or you could just buy the book. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've also got light showers off and on across the valley. Temps out are not bad as yesterday, only in the mid to low 40s, about 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue as a warm front moves over the area. That means highs will be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 55 here in town. Another continued 40% shot at light showers off and on. We're tracking a powerful storm system and cold front set to move in Saturday evening, bringing anywhere between a half inch to a full inch over the weekend. Get ready. It looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
It's your money. And this is your wake-up call market report on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slipping in early trading, adding to yesterday's losses as investors assess economic data and weigh prospects for the first interest rate hike since 2006 as soon as next month. Right now, the Dow is down about 27 points at 17,421. The S&P 500 is lower by 4 at 2042, and the Nasdaq is down 19 points at 4986. U.S. data shows sales at retailers rose less than forecast in October. Meanwhile, wholesale prices unexpectedly fell last month. Shares of JCPenney are down 9%, even though the company's latest results beat estimates, but the retailer did not raise its sales forecast. That left investors wanting more. Federal Reserve officials have stressed that monetary policy should be tightened only gradually after interest rates are increased for the first time in almost a decade. Traders are pricing in a 66% chance of a rate increase in December, up from as low as 27% last month. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Public Policy Institute of California released a report this week that's full of great news if you happen to be a Democrat. According to their study, half of the illegal immigrants in the state, it's about 1.4 million people, have incomes low enough to qualify for full Medi-Cal benefits. Oh, goody! That's just great for the Democrats. Last June, California Governor Jerry Brown signed a state budget that for the very first time included Medi-Cal funds to pay for 170,000 illegal immigrant kids. In a few years, this will end up costing the state about $132 million every year. But now, thanks to this new study, Democrats can prove how insufficient the funding is. After all, here are almost 1 million more people who are poor, downtrodden, thirsty, and in the state illegally. And they need help, too. It's not right to merely provide money for some kids when the need is so enormous. Now, if you think my take is wrong, you're wrong. Last year, the Democrats proposed a plan to extend Medi-Cal to illegal immigrant adults. The price tag came in over $1 billion. So they put it on the back burner. But now with this new report, State Senator Ricardo Lara said he's going to dust it off and try to push it through again. I mean, after all, how can we close our eyes to the poor, the needy, the thirsty, even if they are here illegally? I mean, it just wouldn't be fair, right? What about the families? You know the story of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel left breadcrumbs on the trail so they could find their way back home. Well, that's what you do when you use public Wi-Fi or when you shop online. You leave breadcrumbs on the trail for someone to possibly steal your identity and take everything you own. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect signs that someone has picked up your breadcrumbs. And unlike free credit monitoring services that only alert you, they have a dedicated resolution staff to help clean things up if all of those breadcrumbs get messy. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but with LifeLock, you can keep doing the things you do and feel better protected. Plans start at only $9.99 a month. Call or visit lifelock.com now. Use promo code RUSH. That's RUSH. And save 10% on your membership. Call 800-440-40.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. A message to ISIS.
Your days are numbered, and you will be defeated.
Secretary of State John Kerry still not confirming what the Pentagon is nearly sure of, that a U.S. airstrike in Syria took out the British terrorist masked in black in those ISIS beheading videos. Jihadi John.
British Prime Minister David Cameron saying the U.S. and the U.K. worked around the clock to track Mohammed Emwazi down before he was targeted in a U.S. airstrike last night.
Britain and our allies will not rest until we've defeated this evil terrorist death cult.
Cameron saying if Emwazi's death is confirmed, it will show
we have a long reach, we have unwavering determination, and we never forget about our citizens.
Emwazi fronted execution videos featuring Americans, Britons, Japanese and Syrian people. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Russian media report Moscow is blocking Egypt Air from flying to the country. This after all the Russian flights were banned from flying to Egypt after the Russian plane was blown out of the sky, maybe bombed by terrorists. There's more murder in the West Bank. Another Palestinian goes on the attack. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in Jerusalem.
Dave, a Palestinian man got out of his car near the West Bank city of Hebron and opened fire on a car with an Israeli family. Israel's emergency services says 2 people were killed and a 3rd wounded. It's the latest in a string of violence here between Israelis and Palestinians that started nearly 2 months ago. Palestinians blame Israel for the occupation, and Israel says Palestinians are inciting violence. Dave.
Jessica, a married lesbian couple in Utah has 7 days to give up their foster child. After a judge ruled they're unfit, the kid would be better off in a more traditional home setting. The state's fighting that.
He may not like the law, but he should follow the law. We don't want to have activism on the bench in any way, shape, or form.
Utah Governor Gary Herbert. The FDA is out with new safety rules for produce with new oversight of farms to be sure workers wash hands and irrigation water is monitored. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Batteries Plus Bulbs has a message for anyone who breaks their smartphone, tablet, or other device. They fix them. Plus, they perform the service with a quick turnaround. Visit Batteries Plus Bulbs in Eugene and now open in Corvallis on 9th Street next to the grocery outlet.
Hey parents, pick up your kids without embarrassing them with OMGPS, a navigation system that tells you how far away you need to park when you pick them up.
Keisha at mall. Proceed to outer food court.
Thanks, OMGPS.
OMGPS is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Understanding your finances is a key to a strong financial future. Don't be the one who gets left behind. Visit feedthepig.org for tools and tips to get started on the path to financial stability. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
There is more selling on Wall Street the morning after a big plunge. Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
After 6 weeks of gains, this certainly is set up to be a losing week on Wall Street. The Dow and the S&P down roughly 3% for the week. Right now, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 96 points at 17,351. We got our retail sales numbers. Americans remain cautious. That number went up just 0.1%. And Nordstrom down about 15%. A big earnings miss and a guidance cut. We've also seen Macy's down 18.5% this week. Cisco Systems, the big loser on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, soft outlook and order slowdown for that company. Dave.
Nicole, thank you. The price of oil is down nearly $1 this morning, now under 41 bucks a barrel. Gas is a penny cheaper. AAA's average for regular is $2.19 a gallon. Yet another car recall. This time, Kia needs to fix 256,000 compact SUVs, Kia Souls, from 2014 through 16 model years. The steering can fail because an adhesive holding gear parts together may not be strong enough and they separate. The University of Missouri's ex-president has some company. The dean of students at Claremont McKenna College in California has resigned after similar racial tension-filled protests.
Literally, your jobs
to help us, to take care of us when we don't feel safe.
There are protests on at least 20 other college campuses nationwide with various complaints and demands from students. The Bills kicked off Week 10 of the NFL season, beating the New York Jets, and it was personal for Buffalo coach Rex Ryan, beating the team that fired him.
It's kind of like being dumped by some girl that you had the hots for and all that stuff, and you know, hey, you move on. Every now and then they call you back.
The Bills topped the Jets 22-17. Both teams are now 5-4 on the season. In the NBA, the defending champion Golden State Warriors won again last night, beating Minnesota. Golden State is now 10-0. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
I think it's potential that they might not lose a game. They could go undefeated the entire, well, yeah, okay. Yeah. 1120 KPNW 705, News Radio 1120, with a 30% chance of rain, a little bit of cloud cover, and 59 for the high. Chance of rain, cloudy tonight, 40% for your Saturday. By the way, this is for the 8 o'clock conversation with Jay about the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Fest. When we ask for it, the word, or not really a word, it's more a series of, it's a sound. But your password sound is going to be brr.
So I thought it was going to be ciderific. And by the way, burr is an onomatopoeia.
B-R-R-R-R.
Yeah.
Is the beer that Rob from the Widmer Brothers, Rob Widmer.
Oh, you guys got to test burr yesterday? I love that stuff.
Brought in burr, and I made the point. I said, I think this is a beer that Bill will like because it's hoppy, but it's not too hoppy. So IPA lover's going to like it. Anyway, burr, when we're looking for it, that's what you need to call in with. All right, that being said, look who it is, Alan Q. Alan, our resident geek lord here at the Wake Up Call. Welcome in.
Gentlemen.
Hey, man.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you on. So where are you geeking out this weekend? For folks that don't know, before we go any further, Alan Q is, you're a member of like two different groups. You've got the superhero group out of Portland where you dress up like the classic 1964 Batman. And then you're also part of the Star Wars group where you're a stormtrooper, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Actually, I've increased my costume count, so I have a little more than just the 66 Batman and the standard classic Stormtrooper. So I've added a few more.
Can you
a few more?
Maybe give us one or two. What have you added with?
Okay, so what I've done is I've got the Doc Brown from Back to the Future, the radiation suit, what have you, with the for the DeLorean, the X-wing pilot from Star Wars that goes with my the Stormtrooper, the red shirt Star Trek original series about that.
The red shirt. So I take it that you die at every Comic-Con. Is that the deal?
Hey, you know what? I got ranked, so I send the minions and the lower class, instance to go out there and get
right.
it. And then a non-wearable would be a prop I built with the R2-D2 full scale.
Okay. All right. So which will you be donning at Eugene Comic-Con?
For Eugene Comic-Con this weekend, I'm going to be doing the classic 1966 Adam West Batman. And here's what I added to it. I've added my music. So I'm going to put behind
your
on my
music.
belt. Yeah, I'm going to put my Nana 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 Batman music behind and a Bluetooth. I'm going to have that on my... And so as I'm walking and patrolling the Comic-Con this weekend, you'll know when I step up to you because you'll either be going, what? Hey, where's that coming from? Or you'll start doing the Bat-2-C.
That's great. That's very cool. Now you come with your own sound system. I like it.
Absolutely. So it'll be Batman Dance Party at the Lane Event Center with the Yukon.
All right,
Comic-Con.
So the other geeks are going to be definitely down there, and I'm thinking that there's going to be a fringe interest out there. Can people just come into the lobby area and people watch, or do they have to buy tickets to even get that far?
You can people watch in the lobby. I know a lot of people do that. You know, sometimes folks, you know, they want to. I mean, we'd encourage folks because that's where we're going to have our booth set up with the Portland Superhero Coalition. We're going to be inside as well as the Cloud City Garrison with the Star Wars group. So, but you will see folks coming in and through the lobby, which you can kind of go, wow, that's a cool, you know, costume, or you'll go, oh, hey, that's a Walmart Target costume. Anybody can do whatever they want to at this Comic-Con. So you're not going to be judged by the grade of your costume. Just come. Yes, I'm doing Batusi now. But on Friday, you know, tomorrow, I should say today, we're going to actually
we taped this earlier in the week, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be bringing my R2-D2 at the, you know, today at the Valley River Center from about 5 o'clock till about 7:30. To kind of help out with the Eugene International Film Fest. So it's a busy weekend.
It is a busy weekend.
It's a busy weekend, but it'll be fun.
Hey, we appreciate you know, checking in, Alan.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your show, okay?
All right, we'll do. Alan Q, official geek lord of the Wake Up Call at 710 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Burrito Amigos and game day. You can't beat them. Having a game night in while the team is on the road? Well, invite all your amigos over and let Burrito Amigos supply the eats. Call in an order, pick it up, and it's party on. On the hot side, I suggest Fire Bites. They're deep-fried jalapeno slices, or treat your guests to cheese-filled jalapenos, pepitas. Or go deep with tacos, taquitos, and nachos. And Burrito Amigos taco salads are so big, everyone can dig in. Now, on the side, you can supply the chips, while Burrito Amigos supplies the fresh beans, rice, and salsa to dip those chips in. If you want to plan ahead, stop by the night before and get some fresh, cold tamales by the dozen and nuke them at home the day of the game. Here's your Burrito Amigos helpful hint. When you go the tamale route, take home some mole or the thick, cheesy, spicy poblano soup to use as sauce over the tamales. Better yet, use both. And, of course, all of this is great for tailgate parties. You might even go the burrito route. Burrito Amigos all over Eugene and Springfield. As Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, I can tell you there are some weekends where you may even like Burrito Amigos better than the game.
With 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, where will you go? Toyota Care. 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, standard on all new models. Visit your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
Looking for a new utility vehicle experience? Now during the Power to Do Great Things sales event, get a Kubota RTV-X, the best-selling diesel utility vehicle in the industry. They've earned their place by being durable and reliable. Now get a new RTV-X series for 0 down and 0% APR financing for 4 years. And for a limited time, get great customer instant rebates. Now through December 31st, 2015, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor, locally owned for 30 years, just a mile and a half past the Beltline on Highway 99.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee
Come together.
for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on.
Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity. We thank you for the...
All right, that was odd. Lane County Commissioner Faye Stewart announced he's running for the U.S. Senate. The Republican will attempt to win the May primary and then face Democratic incumbent Ron Wyden.
I believe in my heart that there needs to be some changes. And I'm not in this for, my personal gain or I joined public service to help my fellow citizens, our communities improve. I just believe in my heart that it has to happen at a higher level, and I'm willing to take that risk and that challenge and do the very best I can.
The Cottage Grove resident said that he's running because citizens are broken and they need help. He says the federal government has neglected the needs of Oregon counties while running up debt and mismanaging natural resources. The ghost of Hynix about to be exorcised. Abago Technologies announced it's buying the Hynix plant in Eugene that closed over 7 years ago. Abago is a producer of semiconductors. They purchased the 1.2 million square foot site for $21 million. Avago is expected to apply for enterprise zone property tax waivers as they begin the process of retrofitting the plant and eventually hiring employees. Avago has yet to say how many people they'll need to staff the plant once the doors are officially open. Well, a shock for a semi-truck driver. 3 a.m. yesterday morning, Eugene police received a frantic call from a truck driver regarding an injured person.
Pulling away from the Weimar warehouse with an empty trailer that he connected to. He noticed some resistance and went out to check the trailer itself and realized that there was a man who had been run over by his trailer. The man was taken to Riverbend Hospital after medics arrived, and he died of his injuries.
Police believe that the man was sleeping underneath the semi. The driver, 64-year-old James Himmel of Lorraine, has not been charged. The investigation is still ongoing. Lieutenant Doug Mazzan of the Eugene Police Department stresses that they're working to notify the victim's family, but police say they believe he's one of Eugene's homeless population. Police arrested a man who allegedly threatened an employee at Berg's ski shop. What makes that somewhat novel is the weapon of choice for suspect Cody Britton. It was a syringe. Britton was chased out of the store. Police were called. They soon located Britton.
He wasn't willing to be taken into custody, and he ran, and a short foot pursuit ensued. The officer caught up to him, but Britton still refused to comply, and police were assisted by a bystander with taking him into custody.
According to John Hankmeyer, the Eugene Police Department, Britton was arrested for menacing, attempted theft, interfering, and resisting arrest. A new sports complex at the University of Oregon is going to be funded by a $19.2 million donation from, wait for it, Nike co-founder Phil Knight. U of O athletic officials announced plans for the 29,000 square foot Marcus Mariota Sports Performance Complex in September. The project's an enhancement of the Casanova Center building, and it'll bring state-of-the-art equipment to improve athletes' health and performance. The university says the center will also include a three-dimensional motion capture technology device that'll record and improve athletes' movements, and also a neurocognitive center to diagnose and treat head injuries. Oregon's economic recovery is slowing. Brad Ford reports that if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates next month, it's expected that it'll cause the recovery to slow even more next year.
Oregon lost 5,300 jobs in September, and that's a concern.
We had essentially very weak job numbers reported by the state for September.
University of Oregon economist Tim Dewey says he thinks those numbers will be revised upward and they're not as bad as they appear. He says that Oregon's economy has been on a growth track.
I think overall Oregon's economy is continuing to grow at an above average pace.
Fast growth, though, causes inflation, and the Federal Reserve wants to limit that, which is why it's likely they'll raise short-term interest rates possibly as early as next month. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, the movement started at the University of Missouri, where students are protesting, has hit home with a demonstration at the U of O yesterday. The group Black Women of Achievement marched yesterday in solidarity with Mizzou students. The group's Facebook page stated they demand the administration begin addressing concerns of black safety, cultural and educational advancement, as well as the recruitment and retention of black students. The marchers held a protest at Johnson Hall with a planned discussion later in the day. They said that black identified people only were going to be allowed. The group planned on coming up with a list of demands, which is happening on campuses across the country. Meanwhile, a small group marched on the Oregon State campus. The 30 or so students there were part of the so-called Million Student March across the country, whining about free tuition, calling for the abolition of student debt, and demanding $15 an hour for minimum wage. The 10-mile man has been targeting elderly women. More than 6 victims in Douglas County and possibly more in just Roseburg alone have allegedly fallen prey to Quinn Ellis, a man who claimed to be a salesman for Q&A Distributing and that he was supposedly demonstrating Kirby vacuum cleaners, signing victims to a contract, and then walking away with the victims' money. And, oh yeah, they never got their Kirby vacuum cleaners.
Mr. Ellis was contacted at his residence in 10 Mile by deputies. They took him into custody, lodged him in the county jail on several charges, including first-degree theft and forgery and criminal possession of a forged instrument.
DeWes Hudson with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office says that if you think you've been a victim of one of Mr. Ellis's cons, give him a call. Medford officials have approved a ban on both recreational and medicinal marijuana growing operations. The City Council voted 6-2 in favor of the ban last night. The ordinance, which makes marijuana growing a violation and not a criminal charge, is going to be taken up for a second reading because the vote wasn't unanimous. Council members who voted in support of the ban cited the possibility of increased crime and complaints from neighbors. However, Police Lieutenant Kevin Walruff presented stats to council members showing that pot-related crimes have actually decreased in Medford since Oregon legalized marijuana back in July. Walruff also said most of the marijuana growing complaints that his office has received have been resolved through mediation. Rural living might be less stressful than the big city, but Brad Ford reports on a study that says it could lead to a shorter life.
OSU and Oregon Health Sciences University studied people older than 85 in Oregon. Leah Garris says they found a difference in urban versus rural residents.
The rural population was sicker, and they died sooner than the urban population, and they also used more medication.
Garris says they believe that's because they're further away from medical care and there are fewer general practitioners.
It highlights that issue and hopefully brings attention to it so that we can bring more healthcare services to these areas.
One reason Garris did the study was because she grew up in Klamath Falls and saw how the lack of health care affected people there. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Well, there's a food drive on Saturday in Benton County. People behind this year's Community Holiday Food Drive are asking Benton County residents to fill their donation bags and put them out for pickup on Saturday morning. Boy Scout troops, church groups, and other volunteers dropped off the bags at area homes last weekend. They'll be making the rounds from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday to pick them up. Donated items are going to be transported to the Benton County Fairgrounds for storage until Thanksgiving week. Organizers hope to distribute about 45,000 pounds of food or more to around 4,400 low-income people. It's 7:21. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Even though you had names like Darrelle Revis and LaShawn McCoy on the field this game, pretty much talking about the coach last night, Buffalo Bills coach Rex Ryan, who used to coach the team across the field. In the end, it was sweet revenge for Ryan as his new team, the Bills, able to stamp out a Jets comeback attempt, winning 22-17. Although a couple of decisions Todd Bowles and the Jets came up with definitely helped the Bills out. Talked about after the game were the uniforms. The Jets were in all green, the Bills in solid red. The nation's colorblind population that watched the game reported having difficulty discerning which team was which. There's a group writing a scathing objection to the Christmas colors that were used. If you're going to complain about a coffee cup, I guarantee you somebody was complaining about the two colors. If there ever was a team in the NBA that was picked a shoe-in to repeat as champions, has to be Golden State. Last night they picked off Minnesota 129-116. Steph Curry, 46 points. Tonight, Damian, CJ, and the Portland Trailblazers will head to Memphis to play the Grizzlies. 4 games ago, they beat Memphis by 18. And big-name recruits coming to Oregon. We were 2 of 3 for the day. Let's start with the good news. 4-star quarterback, ESPN's #2 quarterback, Ryan Kelly has chosen Oregon, even over his in-state Arizona State. Another athlete with chops that's coming is Drew Hunter. He's the nation's top distance runner. He goes for his 3rd cross-country state title in Virginia today. But the Ducks basketball team missed out on 5-star power forward TJ Leaf. He's headed to UCLA. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 7:23.
Weather every 10 minutes during the Wake Up Call. Count on it. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've got light showers off and on across the valley, and temps out there right now are in the mid to low 40s with 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue, so there's a 40% shot at light showers off and on, thanks to a warm front that's been spreading over the area. Now, the bulk of the rain for the last day or so has been north of Portland, but this warm front will start to be taken over by a cold front Saturday afternoon. That cold front's bringing an 80% shot at showers with much cooler temps for Sunday, as well as anywhere between a half inch to a full inch of rain for the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. Since I do play golf, the following statement caught my eye one day. In golf and in life, it's the follow-through that makes the difference. You know, it's not only a true statement in golf, it certainly is true in real-life situations. And whether or not we follow through on our ideas, goals, or intentions in life is what really makes the difference in our success. If we don't follow through on our ideas, they become only wishes, and wishes by themselves don't do anything. Are you thinking about something today that will require more follow-through? And you'll only know the difference if you go for it. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
For over 35 holidays, Sherry's has been making award-winning pies for Northwest families. Wrapped in their red and green boxes, Sherry's pies put a delicious exclamation point on your family's holiday meals. Because memorable holiday feasts get that way with freshly baked berry and pumpkin pies. They're also a great way to take folks' minds off the boss's flashing red tie at your office party. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Order your holiday pies at sherry's.com and take Sherry's pies home for the holidays.
While the name Westraunt Catering is a fairly new one, the people and brands behind it have played a key role in family and business functions for over 20 years. Put simply, with Westraunt Catering, you get experience and quality you can trust. Whatever the occasion, Westraunt Catering offers up tasty cuisine from all of its restaurants, including Mucho Gusto Mexican Kitchen, Bill and Tim's Barbecue, Dickie Joe's Burgers, and Dickie Yo's Frozen Treats. At Westraunt Catering, name the occasion. From rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions, business events, and holiday parties, to reunions, team celebrations, and more. And if you're ever in need of a caterer on short notice, we're the go-to place for shotgun weddings and other last-minute events. Call our catering director, Flint Livingston, today at 541-954-6303. Again, 541-954-6303. Westraunt Catering. Trusted in food and service.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. If you stack their desks one atop the other, it's a pile more than 17,000 feet high. That's 12 Empire State Buildings. But what's truly scary is that another stack is going up tomorrow. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
This is your wake-up call.
It's like no cheese I've ever tasted.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
News Radio 1120, KPNW. Good morning.
By the way, a lot of things to do indoors. Right. You got the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival. We got tickets for that. Had an inquiry about that. That's going to be at Willamette. It actually starts today. Goes today and tomorrow. You got Eugene Comic Con. You look for it. There's some stuff to do indoors, which is good because it's going to be a little wet out there.
Joining us on the Wake Up. Oh, what? He's not there?
7:30.
7:30. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, well, we got Joel Gerke, who ironically is named after a type of pickle. And I figured, oh, well, he's going to ready to go here. But
Isn't that gherkins?
Yeah, it is gherkins.
Yeah. And
close enough. I get maybe a single gherkin can be a gherkin.
And say the animal one more time, the animal with the
raccoon.
Yeah.
That story was so crappily written that it just, in the middle of it, I'm sitting here looking like, I ought to just stop. I'll just quit and be done. But no, I forged through, and then I got to the end of it, and I actually regretted the fact that I didn't stop in the middle of it. Just went. Anyway, the raccoons went away.
I wouldn't normally bring it up, but I'm thinking in the situation where everything was reversed, you'd bring it up towards me.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, it was one of those things where I could actually hear in my jaw and my head the gears grinding on that one. It's like, okay, can't get this one in the third. Nah. Yeah, might as well just pull off to the side of the road and walk. Anyway. One of the things, if you haven't gotten, and I'm going to give you a chance to do this, we have, of course, the Best Shot contest, which has to do with hunting this year. So if you've got your best shot of this year's harvest, so to speak, whether it was when you were out bow hunting or maybe, rifle hunting, black powder. I think we actually had one black powder entry this year. But, your elk, your deer, your bighorn sheep, whatever it was, make sure that you get it to us. Oak Grove Guns, of course, has a brand new Winchester rifle that you get to choose, by the way, the caliber, which is pretty cool. So anyway, go to our website, kpnw.com. You're going to see the on the banner, what they call the banner. It's kind of on the left-hand side of the page. You just click on the banner there that will take you to the Big Shot contest, and then just fill out the application that's there, and it'll tell you how to easily upload the picture. We'll get it, and you can be into it. I mean, literally, you've got until about 8 o'clock this morning to get your thing in there. If you haven't already gotten your entry, you can get it to us. So, is Joel ready to go? All right. Totally changing the subject now. Again, gears grinding at this point as we pull off to the side of the road. So at this point, the Republicans, when they took over the House and the Senate, one of the first things they said they're going to do, they're going to repeal Obamacare. And now they're saying, well, okay, maybe we need to repeal parts of it, but other parts of it, we don't know. What are we going to do? And now they're all just sort of scratching their heads. To talk a little bit more about that this morning is political reporter for the National Review, Joel Gerke, joining us on the Wake Up Call. Joel, thanks for being back with us this morning. We appreciate it. So I guess the question is really how far to go and what are the lines of delineation? What are you seeing this morning?
Well, how far to go depends. You mentioned just now the question of full repeal versus partial repeal. That fight's sort of already been had, and you were right to point it out. But the key there is that they're using a budgetary process called reconciliation, which nobody had ever heard of. A lot of people outside the Capitol had never heard of that before. Democrats used it to pass a significant part of Obamacare, so significant that if they couldn't have done it, they wouldn't have passed the whole law. But the great thing about reconciliation, if you're a majority, is that it can't be filibustered. So it only takes 51 votes. And a lot of Republicans hoped that when they took over Congress, they would be able to do a full repeal of Obamacare through reconciliation. And the parliamentarian, the nonpartisan who sort of, called faults and strikes in terms of Senate rules, said that's not possible. And now the next question is, what partial repeal can you do through reconciliation? The House passed a bill that it defunds Planned Parenthood, but then with respect to Obamacare, it repeals the individual mandate and the employer mandate, a couple of prominent taxes that are included in the law, and the Independent Payment Advisory Board, which is the Sarah Palin made that famous by calling it a gas panel. And initially the parliamentarians sort of suggested that the mandates might not be repealable through reconciliation. They now think that they're going to be able to revise it in a way that could get it through. If they can't, they're going to have a real problem, because without the mandates, then senators like Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Marco Rubio, who didn't really like the idea of partial repeal in the first place, if it doesn't even include the mandates, they will, in all likelihood, vote against the bill. And then on the other side, if you lose those three senators, then you've only got 51 votes left. You can't afford to lose anybody else. And there are some moderate Republicans who, like Mark Kirk of Illinois or Lisa Murkowski, who are skeptical about defunding Planned Parenthood. And so it's sort of you move one way, you risk losing some folks. You move another way, you risk losing some on the other side.
So with reconciliation, I mean, and I know that some folks are questioning this because they just got an email about it, on the reconciliation. So this, if they were able to use reconciliation, to amend or adjust the Affordable Care Act, as it were. That is or is not something that has to be signed off on by the president. It does not, correct?
No, that's still a bill that he'll get to veto. Yes.
Now, okay, repeat that again because we didn't quite understand you.
Yes, when they pass this reconciliation bill, it'll go to the president's desk and he will veto it.
So really, then, I mean, the reason for really doing this is to be able to say during the upcoming elections, hey, we tried to do it, we fulfilled our promise, we tried to do it. I mean, at this point, isn't that the reason that we're going through this process?
Yeah, and that might, some people might think that's small potatoes. Certainly the conservative base would be pretty frustrated if after all these years, you finally take over Congress and then can't even get 51 Republicans to vote for the bill. Certainly Democrats have tried to avoid such a bill being sent to the president's desk. They filibuster these things. But every election is about contrasts on some level. So this is one of the big ways to do that. And it's not just about the conservatives, who, to be clear, would be very. I think we know they're already pretty frustrated with party leadership just looking at the presidential election. But you just saw Matt Bevin in Kentucky, a very flawed candidate, running against a really talented Democratic candidate, and he won largely by. Obviously Kentucky's a red state, but they're really having a problem with Obamacare in that state. With their co-op falling apart, a lot of co-ops have been collapsing of late. So they actually see this as a way of also reaching out to voters who are not necessarily ideologically locked in one way or the other, but are frustrated with how the law's been implemented and sort of the effects of it's had, plan cancellations, etc.
Okay, I realize that this is kind of an unfair question, but hey, that's part and parcel for what we do here. How big of an issue do you believe? How big a piece of the concern pie by the average voter do you think that the ACA is going to have in the upcoming presidential elections? I mean, obviously the candidates are going to be talking about it, but how much do you believe that the electorate actually cares?
I mean, the electorate's a big thing. Certainly there are people who have benefited from the ACA. There are also people who, even Obamacare enrollees, people who enrolled in the law through these things that are co-ops, they were sort of, the alternative to the public option that Democrats passed. And there are about 12 of the 23 have collapsed in the last year, and 750,000 people have lost their Obamacare plans. We're not talking about plan cancellations from before they were in Obamacare, but they're having their Obamacare plans canceled. So I think that for various subsets of voters, it'll be a very important issue. And one thing that I'm just personally interested in, I don't know the answer, but White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest pointed out this week that we are now entering the phase where the individual mandate penalties are actually getting to be high. And he actually said that as a good thing because he was talking about driving enrollment, and he was saying the penalties are now, for some people at least, higher than the premiums they'd have to pay in Obamacare. And so I'm interested to see how that plays with the electorate. Are people who maybe don't feel like they have money to pay for there are people who feel like they might not have money to pay for Obamacare premiums, which have been really rising lately. But if they have to pay an even higher mandate penalty, sure, they might end up enrolling in Obamacare, but does that mean they're going to be happy about it or happy with Democrats? I don't know. That's just a thing I'm eager to see, how that answer plays out.
I would think that it would play negatively in some regards to those folks that fall into that category of about probably 26 to 32 years of age, and I was the same way. I didn't have insurance. I didn't want it. I didn't feel that I needed it. And in all honesty, I look back, and at that period of time, I hardly ever went to the doctor. And I would imagine those folks who opt out for the simple fact, well, what do I need it for? I'm not worried about, some major disease. I can see where the young would be, those younger adults would be, screw this. I don't like this at all.
And it's not just younger adults. You're right. There are a lot of younger adults who aren't that interested, especially in that 26 to 32 range. What that's contributing to is it's making insurance cost more for the companies, for the insurance companies providing the service.
Right.
So they end up getting sicker patients, and that means that they then have to increase premiums because they don't have as broad a pool of people who are paying premiums. And so one thing that's really been happening, I think CNBC had a story on this explaining it pretty well. There are subsidies for people who are within a certain range of the poverty line.
Right.
But if you're not in that range, then premiums have, the quote that stands out to me is that an expensive product is turning into a really expensive product because of, so there are poor people who aren't poor enough to qualify for subsidies. We're talking lower middle class, range incomes who are also being at risk of being penalized if they're not paying for insurance. And so that's sort of, it's almost more those people who are wondering how this would affect their votes next year.
All right. Joel, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Joel Gerge, political reporter for the National Review. It is 7:39, News Radio 1120, KPNW.
It's the latest wake-up call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Retail sales rose less than forecast in October as consumers pocketed the money saved after fueling up their cars. Consumers are showing some caution going into the key holiday shopping season, even as hiring reached a 10-month high in October. Stocks are lower as a result. Speaking of retailers, Nordstrom tumbling after cutting its forecast and posting quarterly sales and missed analyst targets. Cisco Systems also falling as it dialed back its outlook for sales and profit on weaker global economic growth. Streaming service Hulu is in talks to sell a stake to Time Warner. That's according to people with knowledge of the situation. A deal could value Hulu at more than $5 billion. Hulu's current investors include Fox, Disney, and NBC Universal. America may finally be getting a decent raise. The demand for labor has risen enough to compel some employers to pay more to retain and hire workers. Although the gains are modest, they should broaden and speed up as unemployment falls further and competition intensifies for quality labor. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows.
Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home.
Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings.
We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows.
Highway 99 in Junction City.
Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows. TCB 180018.
Get stoked on your next stove or fireplace insert at Midgley's. Get zero interest financing on Yodel, Valor, and Blaze King on approved credit. When Midgley's installs your wood or pellet stove, they'll throw in an accessory bag in your first chimney cleaning for free. That's over $250 in savings. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Our customer-friendly parking lot is located behind our store. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
See store for posted details. Take Amtrak Cascades from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Amtrak.com/see what happens.
There's a lot of things out there that we don't understand. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. And that's why I just love your program.
Kind of a messy job. Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? I'm George Norrie.
George Norrie on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear Mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The most accurate 4 forecast now. We have weather every 10 minutes during Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've also got light showers off and on across the valley. Temps out there not bad as yesterday, only in the mid to low 40s, about 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue as a warm front moves over the area. That means highs will be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 55 here in town. Another continued 40% shot at light showers off and on. We're tracking a powerful storm system and cold front set to move in Saturday evening, bringing anywhere between a half inch to a full inch over the weekend. Get ready. It looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
The Wake Up Call.
To be honest, I've never seen such dysfunction.
With Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Yes, he's a man of the outdoors, a woodsman, a mountain man, a guy who tore the muscles off the bone trying to get a spare tire out of the back of the car. It's none other than John Cruz, host of Northwestern Outdoors, heard on this fine radio station 6 to 7 o'clock on Saturday mornings, and also 8 to 9 this coming Sunday morning. Hey, John, how are you doing? How's the recovery going?
You know, it's going well. I've decided, though, that the spare tire story, however true it may be, it just doesn't cut it, so I've decided to change the narrative on how I got my injury.
Okay, so what's the new narrative?
Here's the new narrative. Here's what really happened. You know, I was actually out in the woods scouting for elk when suddenly a 6x6 bull elk came out right in front of me. He was in the rut. He was angry. He charged me. We wrestled. I took him down to the turf by the horns, and that is how I tore the tendon off the bone.
Okay, see that right there, that's a cool story. People will listen to that and think, that John, he's quite the man.
That's what they'll think, and that's the new story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, so what, we know what happened to you, what happened to the elk?
Yeah, good point.
The elk just dusted itself off and walked away.
Well, see, now we're back to the kind of wimpy John thing again. I wrestled it to the ground, and it just got up and walked away, and shook its head at me and went, sorry, pal.
Fine. I took a pocket knife out. I went ahead, and I his throat, and I got my tag, and there's elk steak for dinner.
All right, safe. All right, that's better.
Thank you.
Anyway, what do you have coming up this weekend? What goodness are you going to grace us with on the show?
Well, one of our favorite people is going to be on the show. It's Bill Harsey. He actually has designed some new knives for Ruger, the people that make guns, and Columbia River Knife and Tools, the people who make knives. And he's going to tell us all about those. That's kind of cool. Always like having Bill on the show.
I've taken a look at the pictures of those, the Ruger knives that he designed. Particularly, one of them was a folding knife. Those are some pretty cool looking knives.
Yes, they are. I actually personally like the sheath knife myself, the hunting knife. But yeah, all four are really neat. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation with Bill. That's always a lot of fun. With Veterans Day in mind, we're going to tell you about a place called Divide Camp up in Northeast Oregon. It's a place that's designed for veterans from the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts to basically go and recreate outdoors and spend time with peers and heal. Pretty cool place and some pretty cool stuff they're doing there.
That's up near Imnaha, isn't it?
Imnaha, the very, very, very small place called Imnaha, where, as I recall, there's kind of a combined inn and cafe and bar all in one building.
Oh, do they also have a gas station there?
No.
Usually...
I don't remember a gas station being there. They could have one. I just don't remember that being there.
All right. Fair enough. Other things on the show. Anything else?
Found a really good read. A guy named Jerry Hamza has come out with his very first book. He's like 52 years old. Has no outdoor pedigree at all. As a matter of fact, he was the president of the Cat Fanciers Association and a longtime associate of George Carlin. But he wrote this book called Outdoor Chronicles, a series of short stories about hunting and fishing. At least that's the backdrop. But they offer some incredible insights into what he calls and what I would say is the human condition. Great read. Best book I've probably read in 10 years. So we're going to talk to him.
Really? So he has no background in the outdoors? I mean, does he hunt? Does he fish? Does he do anything?
he has a background in terms of he's an avid hunter and fisherman.
Okay.
But in terms of the, coming up as an outdoors writer or, even the other end, like as an English professor or anything like that, no, nothing at all like that. So he kind of came out of nowhere, and he just kind of hit it out of the park with his very first book in terms of some great stories.
All right. Things to do this weekend. What do you have for us?
Well, I ran across something from Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. They basically are saying, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up. It's a good time to go turkey hunting because the season's still open. And, the area around Roseburg has actually got the highest density of turkeys in Oregon with about 16 plus per square mile. So they actually had some top 5 tips for fall turkey hunting. And one of them is suspect, but it's worth sharing.
Okay. What's the suspect?
Well, I have to get there first. So tip number 1 is you have to go into the woods to look for the turkeys. You're going to want to find them where you would find seeds, fruits, nuts, or insects. You're going to look for hawthorn, dogwood, crabapple, oak, or other trees that drop seeds.
Okay.
Once you locate your flock of turkeys, here's the suspect part. You're supposed to scatter them by running towards them and yelling, for example.
What?
Yes. I'm reading this verbatim from Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. Once you've located a flock of turkeys, scatter them by running towards them and yelling, for example. So I'm having this visual of turkey hunters going out there.
Run away!
Yes, stripping down to the waist, doing cartwheels in the middle of the meadow, gobbling up and yelling at them and telling them to run away. And then you're supposed to set up against a tree or a stump with a high backed offer protection, and then use your turkey call to bring those birds back so you can take that safe and legal shot.
Hey, come back over here where I scared you from. Come on, you want to. Why don't you just, if you find the flock of them, or why don't you just shoot them? I mean, why do I need to make them run? If I find the flock, why do I want them to run away? Why don't I just, take one of them and be done with it?
I told you this was suspect. I was actually wondering if this was like an April Fool's Day joke that was published like 6 months in advance. But
that was one of the, I'm sorry, John. I mean, ODFW or not, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is a little, I'm trying to be polite here, off the wall. Actually, it's just nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I've never heard of anybody ever doing this before, but that's what they're saying. So, hey, give it a try. See how it works out for you. If it works out, please give us a call. We'd love to get you on the air.
So paraphrasing again, what you do is you find your flock of turkey, then you scare the hell out of them and run them off, and then once you do that, you hang out where you scared them off from, you use your turkey call and try to lure them back in so you can shoot them.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. That right there.
Best tactic ever.
Yeah, that obviously created by somebody that lives in Portland. Anyway, anything else that's going on this weekend besides going out and frightening turkeys?
If I was not turkey hunting in such a manner, I would probably head over to Summer Lake. It's a good time for a cast and blast. Lots of ducks, lots of geese over there. And they just planted the Anna River, which runs through the Summer Lake Wildlife Management area with trout. And there's lots of good bank access. Good one to fish from like a pontoon boat or a float tube. So, go catch some rainbow trout, go shoot some waterfowl and maybe some upland birds. And it's beautiful country out there.
And scare a turkey or two.
And who knows? You might even find a turkey to scare.
All right. John, always a pleasure to have you on the show. You take care.
You do the same. Take care.
All right. That's John Cruz, host of Northwestern Outdoors Radio. You'll hear the show coming up 6 to 7 o'clock this Saturday morning and also 8 to 9 here on News Radio 1120 KPNW, where it's 7:52.
Okay, so in case, the whole Starbucks thing was just nutty. But you sit there and you go, you know what? It's America. People can complain and talk about whatever they want to talk about. In a, answer in marketing, Starbucks is offering free coffee. Buy one, get one free from 2p to 5p today through Sunday. And that's, everything. They're gingerbread lattes. They're peppermint mochas. If you want to get some free coffee, there you go to Starbucks. Also, you heard Alan Q talk about it at the outset of the hour. The Eugene International Film Fest is going on. If you want to take in some pretty cool ventures into the film world, today through Sunday, all weekend they have events. Of course, the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival today and tomorrow. We'll talk with Jay about that coming up in the Aider. There's a holiday show at Lane Event Center. And, of course, we had this crew in. The Come to the Cabaret benefit for the Eugene Symphony Guild happens tonight at the Hilton Garden Inn. So, a lot of things indoors, of course. Would love for you to come out and check out stuff. The bus to benefit, Food for Lane County and Toys for Tots at LTD, Walmart. A bunch of people out there doing some good things. And if you would like to add to the circus, we'd welcome it. Right now, we're at the Springfield Olympic Walmart, K-Duck is. And then later today, Valerie and myself will be at the Delta Oaks location at 2 o'clock on. It's KPNW. Stand by. Hour 3 coming up.
Farmers, growers, anyone involved in the agriculture industry need to plan on coming to the 15th Annual Willamette Valley Ag Expo, November 17th through the 19th in Albany. Over 160 vendors offering the latest innovations, equipment, and cost-saving ideas for your farm, ranch, orchard, or hobby farm. This show is a must-see because it's produced by the Willamette Valley Ag Expo Board, a nonprofit with a vested interest in your success. There's daily seminars and classes including core pesticide training, forklift certification, and more. This year, the antique farm equipment display is even larger and well worth seeing. Bring your family Wednesday night for the expanded Oregon Dine-Around. Ag Expo admission is just $4, includes a $2 discount on a chicken fried steak lunch each day. The 15th Annual Willamette Valley Ag Expo at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center on I-5 at exit 234 in Albany. Show hours are Tuesday 9 to 6, Wednesday 10 to 9, and Thursday 10 to 5. Parking is free. More information online at wvaexpo.com or call 800-208-2168.
While the name Westrant Catering is a fairly new one, the people and brands behind it have played a key role in family and business functions for over 20 years. Put simply, with Westrant Catering, you get experience and quality you can trust. Whatever the occasion, Westrant Catering offers up tasty cuisine from all of its restaurants, including Mucho Gusto Mexican Kitchen, Bill and Tim's Barbecue, Dickie Joe's Burgers, and Dickie Yo's Frozen Treats. At Westrant Catering, name the occasion. From rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions, business events, and holiday parties, to reunions, team celebrations, and more. And if you're ever in need of a caterer on short notice, we're the go-to place for shotgun weddings and other last-minute events. Call our catering director, Flint Livingston, today at 541-954-6303. Again, 541-954-6303. Westrant Catering. Trusted in food and service.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I reported that according to research done at Cambridge University, kids' financial habits are largely set by the time they're 7 years old, and that other work done at the University of Wisconsin suggests that 3-year-olds can begin to learn basic money concepts. That means kids' lack of understanding of the rudiments of personal finance is really their parents' fault, though the schools don't do much to mitigate the problem. Parents who are financially illiterate don't know where to start when teaching their own kids about money management, especially if the example they're setting is overspending, instant gratification, and lurching from crisis to crisis because they don't have savings. Here's the nugget. A website called moneyasyogrow.org has basic and easily understood information for teaching kids about money. It's broken into 5 modules grouped by age, starting from 3 to 5 and ending at over 18. It's easy to understand, and many parents could learn a thing or two from it themselves. A product of a federal program, it looks like a good use of taxes to me. Another source of basics geared to adults is a class called Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. It's Christian-based and can be found through many churches. But even the ungodly might learn an ungodly amount. Or you could just buy the book. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Your KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania, where the side effect of saving like crazy may cause excessive high-fiving and a permanent smile.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've got light showers off and on across the valley, and temps out there right now are in the mid to low 40s with 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue, so there's a 40% shot at light showers off and on, thanks to a warm front that's been spreading over the area. Now, the bulk of the rain for the last day or so has been north of Portland, but this warm front will start to be taken over by a cold front Saturday afternoon. That cold front's bringing an 80% shot at showers with much cooler temps for Sunday, as well as anywhere between a ½ inch to a full inch of rain for the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Every child needs a place where they can grow up healthy and learn and be safe. And be safe. Every child needs a place to call home. A place where they can play and dream. Dream. And plan for their future. Your support can help put a decent roof over the heads of a family like mine. Like mine. Like mine. Like mine. To learn how you can help, visit habitat.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are lower as data showed sales at retailers rose less than forecast in October. Consumers are pocketing the money saved up after fueling their cars. The recent fluctuations in stock prices could be limiting the enthusiasm for shopping sprees. Staying with retailers, JCPenney falling after signaling that sales growth during the holiday season may slow from the third quarter. The company is working to cut costs, invest in e-commerce, and build customer loyalty through popular brands such as Sephora. Anheuser-Busch InBev is setting out to win women back with the Super Bowl ad campaign built around the idea that coming together over a frosty Bud Light can help solve the world's problems, including unequal pay. After the worst ever outbreak of bird flu destroyed almost 8 million turkeys earlier this year, there are fewer of them, and those that remain are smaller than normal. That's boosting wholesale costs for grocers to a record, and consumer prices are the highest ever for this time of the year as we head into Thanksgiving. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Has something you've eaten made you sick? 1 in 6 Americans suffer a foodborne illness every year, so the government is out with new regulations on produce. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
The FDA out with new safety rules for produce designed to prevent large-scale outbreaks. Under the new rules, the government will have new oversight of farms, making sure workers are trained to wash their hands, that animals don't leave droppings in fields, and that irrigation water is monitored for harmful bacteria. An estimated 3,000 people die each year from foodborne illnesses. Dave.
Rachel, no confirmation yet that the U.S. killed an infamous ISIS terrorist masked wearing black in those beheading videos.
We are still assessing the results of this strike.
Secretary of State John Kerry says it's a message to ISIS they'll be defeated, but Republican presidential candidate Lindsey Graham counters.
Jihad Johnny may be dead, but ISIL is alive and well.
It's getting more personal on the road to the White House.
People are always asking me, why would you get involved in the slimy world of politics?
Ben Carson muses he asks himself that, too, as he campaigns in South Carolina the day after Republican rival Donald Trump hit him even harder. Fox's Jared Halpern live in D.C.
Rallying in Fort Dodge, Iowa, billionaire Donald Trump saved his sharpest jabs for Dr. Ben Carson.
How stupid are the people of Iowa? How stupid are the people of the country to believe this crap?
Trump was referring to Carson's described violent past, the businessman saying Carson has a pathological disease that can't be cured like a child molester. Trump also says this of top Democrat Hillary Clinton.
Outside of the woman's gut, she's got nothing going. Believe me.
Trump adding no one knows more about how to defeat ISIS than he does. Dave.
Jared, an actress on NCIS, Paulie Perrette, says she's traumatized. Her life changed when she was assaulted overnight by who she calls a psychotic homeless man. L.A. police confirmed to Fox that a suspect has been arrested and jailed. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
I spend my days helping others. It's rewarding, just not always financially. So I got TIAA-CREF. They were founded to help people like me meet our financial goals. They've got so many industry accolades, it's unreal. I like taking care of people. Sometimes that even includes myself.
Intelligent investing for the long term. Just what you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF, Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an act of portrayal. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
Are you ready to take your diabetes management to the next level? Put the Contour Next meter to the test and challenge your meter. The Contour Next meter makes testing easy and highly accurate with close to lab level results. And Contour Next gives you a second chance, allowing you to reapply to the same strip when the first sample is not enough, saving you time and money. So take the challenge. Go to ContourNextChallenge.com, get a free meter, and enter to win free test strips. Contour Next. Accuracy you can trust.
A granny who for years thought she got away with murder
faces sentencing today. Fox's Jeff Manasso is on the case live.
75-year-old Lois Janish pled no contest 2 years ago in Flint, Michigan, to the 1998 beating death of her granddaughter, using a hammer to kill 14-year-old Coral Hall. She then dismembered her body and scattered her remains that have never been found. According to witness testimony, Janish also offered her granddaughter to at least one adult male in exchange for crack cocaine and fought with the girl the day friends say she disappeared 17 years ago. The so-called granny from hell faces life in prison when she's sentenced today, Dave.
Jeff, still no arrest yet in the murder of an Indiana pastor's wife. Amanda Blackburn was 13 weeks pregnant, shot Tuesday. She died Wednesday, and so did the baby.
We'll never be able to repair the damage that's been done to the Blackburn family. But one thing I can tell you is that we will bring justice.
FBI Special Agent in charge, Jay Abbott, Pastor Davy Blackburn has been cleared as a suspect. On Wall Street, more selling today. The Dow's down 150. Do you know what today is?
Are you scared yet? It's Friday the 13th. Yeah, Jason Voorhees, creepy summer camps, we get it. But did you know there's an official sounding name for a real fear of Friday the 13th?
Paraskividecatriophobia.
Huh?
Paraskividecatriophobia.
Right, but it's a real thing. People the world over say it's a day of bad luck.
Well, some people actually do stay home and they don't go out. They don't fly. They don't go shopping.
Dr. Frida Birnbaum is a research psychologist who says the roots of Friday the 13th are biblical, and that's why it's so pervasive.
You know, even scholars have said that Eve took the apple on Friday the 13th.
Sounds worse than breaking a mirror. Eben Brown, Fox News.
You know what else is scary? Eating SpaghettiOs that have been recalled. 355,000 cans of them because little red plastic in the can lining can come loose, and that's a choking hazard. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW on this Friday the 13th. Hopefully it goes well, and it's started out well. 30% chance of rain. A little wet out there, cloudy, and 59 for the eventual high. Chance of rain and cloudy tonight, 48 the temperature low. 40% chance of rain tomorrow, breezy, and then a little bit of a storm coming through Saturday night. So just be ready for that. And I don't know, but anything that's low-hanging, or if you got hanging plants, or you have your axe hung up on the wall, you might want to bring that down. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either.
Who hangs up their
axe?
Axes and...
Well, I was wondering if you were making reference to that story last week or the week before about the guy that just found the axe in Corvallis and decided to go to the park and chase people.
Yeah, the axe man.
Right.
Yeah. No.
That didn't... Okay.
No.
All right. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming up this hour, if you were listening, was it in the 7 o'clock hour we gave the secret...
Sixer.
Yeah, the Sixer. Okay, the 6 o'clock hour we gave the secret onomatopoeia that you will have to, at one point or another, regurgitate to us so that you may win tickets to go to the...
Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival, which sounds amazing. And by the way... the crew from Widmer is going to be out there pouring the burr that we were drinking. So come on out and be ready to get the same thing that Rob Widmer was in here pouring and talking about.
Yesterday while I was not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, good timing. Anyway, that said, we'll have these stories coming up. Oh, look, we have a county commissioner who says, by golly, I want to run for senator of the United States of America. And he's going to start trotting around the state. We'll have that story coming up. We'll also take a look at the economic indicators for the state of Oregon, which are not indicating good things right now. The Magic 8 Ball would say things are suspect. Those stories and more coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones right here on News Radio 1120 KPNW. You've got that look. What?
More of a gleeful prance I see Faye doing, not less of a trod.
Gleeful prance?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. When he comes into the studio, because we'll have to have him in to talk about his run, we'll have to have him...
Because now we stream video, so he's going to show it up.
Right, we can actually see Faye prancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 8:07.
I like that idea.
It's 1120 KPNW.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location. But if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only 3 food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature link sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or get it meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
While the name Westraunt Catering is a fairly new one, the people and brands behind it have played a key role in family and business functions for over 20 years. Put simply, with Westraunt Catering, you get experience and quality you can trust. Whatever the occasion, Westraunt Catering offers up tasty cuisine from all of its restaurants, including Mucho Gusto Mexican Kitchen, Bill and Tim's Barbecue, Dickie Joe's Burgers, and Dickie Yo's Frozen Treats. At Westraunt Catering, name the occasion. From rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions, business events, and holiday parties, to reunions, team celebrations, and more. And if you're ever in need of a caterer on short notice, we're the go-to place for shotgun weddings and other last-minute events. Call our catering director, Flint Livingston, today at 541-954-6303. Again, 541-954-6303. Westraunt Catering. Trusted in food and service.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. But forget about the coffee. Just go for the bacon. Here's what's going on. Lane County Commissioner Faye Stewart announced that he's not only running but prancing for the U.S. Senate. The Republican will attempt to win the May primary and then face Democratic incumbent Ron Wyden.
Because I believe in my heart that there needs to be some changes. And I'm not in this for, my personal gain or I joined public service to help my fellow citizens, our communities improve. I just believe in my heart that it has to happen at a higher level, and I'm willing to take that risk and that challenge and do the very best I can.
The Cottage Grove resident said that he's running as well because he believes, quote, our citizens are broken and they need help. He says the federal government has neglected the needs of Oregon counties while running up debt and mismanaging natural resources. The ghost of Hynix about to be exorcised. Avago Technologies is now the proud owner of the old Hynix plant in Eugene. That plant closed over 7 years ago. Avago produces semiconductors. They spent $21 million to purchase the 1.2 million square foot site. They expect to apply for enterprise zone property tax waivers as they start the process of retrofitting the plant and then eventually hiring employees. Avago has yet to say how many people would be needed to staff the plant once the doors are open. Well, you can say that it was a shock for a semi-truck driver. Around 3 a.m. yesterday morning, Eugene police responded to a frantic call from a truck driver regarding an injured person.
Pulling away from the Bi-Mart warehouse with an empty trailer that he connected to. He noticed some resistance and went out to check the trailer itself and realized that there was a man who had been run over by his trailer. The man was taken to Riverbend Hospital after medics arrived, and he died of his injuries.
It's believed that the man was sleeping underneath the semi. The driver, 64-year-old James Himmel of Lorraine, has not been charged. The investigation is continuing. Lieutenant Doug Mozan of the Eugene Police Department stresses that they have yet to notify the victim's family, which is complicated by the fact that they believe he's one of Eugene's homeless population. Police arrested a man who allegedly threatened an employee at Berg Ski Shop, which really doesn't sound all that out of the ordinary until you consider the fact that the weapon of choice for suspect Cody Britton was a syringe. Britton was chased out of the store. Then police were called, and soon they found Britton, and the fun just continued.
He wasn't willing to be taken into custody, and he ran, and a short foot pursuit ensued. The officer caught up to him, but Britton still refused to comply, and police were assisted by a bystander with taking him into custody.
John Hankmeyer of the Eugene Police Department says that Britton was arrested for menacing, attempted theft, interfering, and resisting arrest. A new sports complex at the University of Oregon is going to be funded by a $19.2 million donation from Phil Knight? No. UO athletic officials announced plans for the 29,000-square-foot Marcus Mariota Sports Performance Complex in September. The project is an enhancement of the Casanova Center building, and it's going to bring state-of-the-art equipment to improve the athletes' health and performance. The university says one of the things it'll feature will be a three-dimensional motion capture technology studio that will record and thereby be used to improve athletes' movements. There's also going to be a neurocognitive center to diagnose and treat head injuries. Oregon's economic recovery is slowing. Brad Ford reports that if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates next month, it's expected that'll cause the recovery to slow even more next year and not really be a recovery.
Oregon lost 5,300 jobs in September, and that's a concern.
We had essentially very weak job numbers reported by the state for September.
University of Oregon economist Tim Dewey says he thinks those numbers will be revised upward and they're not as bad as they appear. He says that Oregon's economy has been on a growth track.
I think overall Oregon's economy is continuing to grow at an above average pace.
Fast growth, though, causes inflation, and the Federal Reserve wants to limit that, which is why it's likely they'll raise short-term interest rates possibly as early as next month. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A 10-mile man has been targeting elderly women. So far, more than 6 victims in Douglas County and more in the Roseburg area have allegedly fallen prey to Quinn Ellis. Now, Quinn Ellis was going door to door, saying that he worked for Q&A Distributing, and he was demonstrating and selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. So he would sign the victims to a contract, then he would take the victims' money, and then, well, they never got their brand spanking new Kirby vacuum cleaners because, well, he didn't have any.
Mr. Ellis was contacted at his residence in 10 Mile by deputies. They took him into custody, lodged him in the county jail on several charges, including first-degree theft and forgery and criminal possession of a forged instrument.
Wes Hudson with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office says that if you think that you've been a victim of Ellis, make sure that you contact the Sheriff's Office in Douglas County and let them know. Medford officials approved a ban on both recreational and medicinal marijuana growing operations. The City Council voted 6-2 in favor of the ban. The ordinance makes marijuana growing a violation and not a criminal charge, but it'll be taken up for a second reading because the vote wasn't unanimous. Council members who voted in support of the ban cited the possibility of increased crime and complaints from neighbors. But Police Lieutenant Kevin Walruff presented statistics to the council that showed that pot-related crimes have decreased in Medford since Oregon legalized marijuana back in July. Walruff also says most of the marijuana growing complaints his office have received have been resolved through some form of mediation. Well, you might think that living out in the great outdoors in the rural parts of Oregon would be less stressful than the big city. Brad Ford reports on a study that finds that living out in the country could lead to a shorter life.
OSU and Oregon Health Sciences University studied people older than 85 in Oregon. Leah Garris says they found a difference in urban versus rural residents.
The rural population was sicker, and they died sooner than the urban population, and they also used more medications.
Garris says they believe that's because they're further away from medical care and there are fewer general practitioners.
It highlights that issue and hopefully brings attention to it so that we can bring more health care services to these areas.
One reason Garris did the study was because she grew up in Klamath Falls and saw how the lack of health care affected people there. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
She also failed to mention that there is a greater chance of being mauled by a ferret. Lynn County Commissioners have approved extending the South Sandium Enterprise Zone for snow temp cold storage.
The company is required to add 10% to their current workforce, the exemptions for 3 years, and they're required to add 2 employees and plans on hiring a new supervisor and chief engineer in addition to the warehouse staff.
The proposal was brought to the commissioners by John Pesconi of the Albany-Millersburg Economic Development Corporation. It's already been approved by the city of Albany. It's awaiting approval by the Millersburg and Lebanon city councils. Snow Temp is actually family-owned. It operates cold storage warehouses for ag products in Albany and Eugene. The Albany plant is out on Marion. It includes 9.2 million cubic feet of frozen space that ranges between minus 18 degrees to minus 40 degrees.
Let's get to our next guest.
And finally, a big food drive on Saturday in Benton County. The people behind this year's community holiday food drive are asking Benton County residents to fill their donation bags and put them out for pickup on Saturday morning. Boy Scout troops, church groups, and other volunteers dropped off bags at the area homes last weekend, and they'll be making rounds tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3, trying to pick them up. Donated items will be transported to the Benton County Fairgrounds for storage until Thanksgiving. Organizers hope to distribute about 45,000 pounds of food to around 4,400 low-income people. It's 8:19. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Even though you had names like Darrelle Revis and LaShawn McCoy in the field, this game was talked about and reported and really had to do with the coach, Rex Ryan, who used to coach the team across the field. And now he's with the Bills, and they did what they had to do to stamp out a Jets comeback attempt, winning 22-17. Although you have to wonder about a couple of the decisions that the Jets and Todd Bowles came up with. Talk about after the game had to do with the uniforms. The Jets were in all green, the Bills in solid red. The nation's colorblind population, and all told, we're talking about 10 million people, but those that watched the game reported having difficulty discerning which team was which. Somewhere, there's a group writing a scathing objection to the Christmas colors that were used in the game. Keep Christmas out of their football. If there was ever a team in the NBA that was picked a shoe-in to repeat as champions, has to be Golden State. Last night they picked off Minnesota 129-116. Steph Curry, 46 points. Tonight, Damian, CJ, and the Portland Trailblazers will head to Memphis to take on the Grizz. 4 games ago, they beat Memphis by 18. All right, so we went 2 for 3 in big-time recruits coming to Oregon yesterday. 4-star quarterback and ESPN's number 2 QB, Ryan Kelly, has chosen the Ducks, even over his in-state Arizona State Wildcats, or Sun Devils. Another athlete with chops that's coming to Eugene is Drew Hunter. He's the nation's top distance runner, going for his 3rd cross-country state title in Virginia today. The Ducks, however, lost out on 5-star power forward TJ Leaf, despite a great visit to Eugene. He's going to UCLA. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 8:20.
KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania in Albany, Eugene, Springfield, and Corvallis. Save like crazy.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've also got light showers off and on across the valley. Temps out there not bad as yesterday, only in the mid to low 40s, about 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue as a warm front moves over the area. That means highs will be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 55 here in town. Another continued 40% shot at light showers off and on. We're tracking a powerful storm system and cold front set to move in Saturday evening, bringing anywhere between a ½ inch to a full inch over the weekend. Get ready. It looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
When you think fishing or firearms, think Mazama.
Local, family-owned Mazama is your fishing headquarters with brands like G. Loomis, St. Croix, Shimano, Daiwa, and a variety of locally made products tailor-made for this region. Team Mazama is eager and knowledgeable.
Plus, they offer layaway on firearms and fishing gear.
Pick up your hunting and fishing license while you're there. Conveniently located on West 11th in the same parking lot as Lowe's. Get to Mazama and get hooked on the good life. When you think fishing or firearms, think Mazama.
Hi, I'm Eric Harple with Realty One Group. You've heard our ads with Glenn Beck and Lars Larson for years, and like they said, I have been the top real estate agent in Lane County for more than 5 years. But honestly, who cares? What I care about is helping you get your home sold for the most money possible within your time frame. My team and I help more home sellers sell than any other agent, and most at full price or more. How? Massive marketing. When you're number one, you can do things the others can't. I'm not bragging. I'm applying for a job. I want to be your realtor. And if you're not happy, fire me. Mind you, I think you'll be happy because our bulletproof listing offers flexible commissions, the right to sell it yourself, cancel anytime. You're in control. We sell homes for top dollar regardless of the time of year, and we put the money in your pocket. For a free information package, call 541-286-3030. Call Harple Real Estate countywide 541-286-3030 or harplehomes.com. Thank you.
This is a national health care alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you are on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to get these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. That's 800-430-9571.
Built for business. When you run a small business, your day doesn't end at 5. It ends when the job is done. Manage inventory, process orders, pay bills, check your website. Every day, the to-do list gets longer and longer. Comcast Business understands that. That's why they offer the no-glitch switch. It's the quick, easy way to improve your business's internet. Installation takes about an hour, and if they're not on time, you get a $20 credit. They offer appointments at night or on weekends, so it won't interfere with your business. And if you're not 100% satisfied, you have 30 days to get your money back. You don't have to put up with slow downloads or emails that won't send. Just remember the no-glitch switch from Comcast Business and cross Switch to Better Internet off your to-do list. Make the no-glitch switch. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. 1 hour install applies to standard installation of one outlet. Money-back guarantee does not apply to Ethernet or hospitality services.
Take your classic or modern ride to a whole new level with a speed shop at Metalworks. Get full access to Holley, MSC, Edelbrock, Willwood, Art Morrison, GM Performance Engines, and more at guaranteed low prices. At Metalworks, we have performance and restoration experts on site to help you down the road. We're off West 11th at 1045 Aerosmith Street in Eugene. Take our website for a spin at MetalworksClassics.com. Metalworks. Build your dream.
I won't mention any names, but their initials are
Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
25 after 8 o'clock with the Wake Up Call all over a Friday, heading into the weekend. A lot of craziness going on, and one of those events, one of those things that you would love for you to venture outdoors and battle the elements to endure. You'll endure the elements. You won't endure the campaign, and that is the 20th annual Stuff the Bus to benefit Food for Lane County and Toys for Tots, and to talk about not just the situation out there at Walmart, by the way, 2.5 hours into the Olympic Street locale. We have Brad Bassey to talk about the situation when it comes to hunger here in Lane County. Brad, welcome back.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
So I think, it's been a while since we've talked about it. It seems like every time, the holidays come around, we start to talk about it with the Stuff the Bus, and we have, people from Food for Lane County throughout the year. But over the last year, are we any better when it comes to the stats than we were like a couple of years ago? Because they were pretty horrific.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that when the financial crisis in 2008 hit, unemployment went up, and we saw a lot more users accessing accessing emergency food in Lane County. And everyone expected that those numbers would go down when the economy recovered, which it's doing. We're actually not seeing that. We're seeing that the people that were hit the hardest are still working their way back out of the situations that they're in. So our need, for a multitude of reasons, has not tailed off the way that we certainly would have hoped it would have.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you talk to whether there's an actual recovery or not.
That's true. I mean, for the people that have recovered, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
People work their way out of it, but folks are always running into hard times, even in the best of an economy. Some folks work their way out of a bad situation, and others drop in. And one thing that always amazes me with Stuff the Bus is that we'll see people that'll come by and make a donation. And they'll say, boy, we accessed food from Food for Lane County or from a food pantry a couple of years ago, and now we're in a situation to be able to help out, and they want to give back. So it's always really touching to see that kind of thing happen, and invariably it happens every year.
I've even seen people that are currently benefiting somehow from some bank or something out there that come in there that just either want to be a part of something or realize that every little bit helps, and it's true.
Yeah, it's really heartwarming, and just because folks will occasionally need some emergency food from one of our partners doesn't mean there may not be a time of the month where they're a little better off, and they want to help out. I think the people that are in the tough situation know better than anyone how tough it can actually be. So it's really heartwarming to see that.
Brad, what's the current stats here in Lane County? What percentage of the folks are coming to Food for Lane County?
Well, so if you look at the population of the entire county, that's toddlers through as old as you can be, about 40% of the people in Lane County qualify for an emergency food box. That doesn't mean that they all access it, but it means that that's the qualification is met, and that's an awful lot of people. And if you qualify for emergency food, you're allowed roughly a dozen emergency food boxes a year, and those last about 4 to 5 days. So we don't intend for our services to be the sole source of food for anybody. It's really a supplement, emergency little extra.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's a good point that it's not going to absolve everything, just to kind of take the sting off. What kinds of foods, if somebody is going to be heading to a store today and dropping off one of the Walmarts, what kinds of foods are good? And I'll add this too. What about for Thanksgiving feasts?
Yeah, so interestingly, if you went back 5 or 6 years ago, we used to focus on coming up with a holiday extra or special basket of supplies for folks. We realize now that the day-to-day need is really what we work on. So the holiday season is a great time to tap into people's giving spirit, and it's amazing that the community steps up in November and December and gives so much. But really just focus on good quality non-perishable foods. Low-sodium stuff is great. If you can get protein-based stuff in there, that's awesome, like soups, chilies. Tuna fish and peanut butter are fantastic. And protein is the #1 most difficult thing for a food bank to source. The non-perishable protein gets even trickier. But any non-perishable item that folks want to bring by, we will get to folks.
Very good. And, of course, we are at the Springfield Olympic Walmart till 1 o'clock today, and then later today, 2 o'clock on. Val and myself will be broadcasting on KDOC. We'll be over at the Delta Oaks Walmart till about 8 o'clock tonight, and then we do it all again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we'll be at the Springfield Gateway Grocery Walmart, and then, of course, bringing it home, as we always do, at the West 11th. So, you're at a Walmart that has a grocery store. You can, kind of make it a one-stop. Some people do toys and food, but you know what you can afford, and you know what you can do. It's not going to break you, but thank you in advance for doing that. Anything else? Did we miss anything, Brad?
You guys nail it like always, and I just want to thank everybody that participates or helps out. however they do it at some point in the year. And people really appreciate it. We live in a generous community, and it's an honor to work for an organization that does some good.
I think some people kind of lose touch with the idea that you're bringing in some canned food and maybe some peanut butter, and yet that is going to be somebody's, that's going to be on a dinner table. We're not just talking, kind of a luxury snack. We're talking about, sustenance. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yeah. I mean, the peanut butter could be a sandwich that is, that could be breakfast for a kid that may not have food at school for, until lunch. So
yeah,
it gets to the folks that need it the most.
Hey, Brad, stay dry. We'll see you out there in a little bit. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right, you bet. Brad Bassey with Food for Lane County. Of course, all week, seems like a week, all weekend, stuff in the bus at area Walmarts with Toys for Tots in there as well. Don't forget new unwrapped toys to help out their campaign as well. 8:33 right now. Jay, returning to talk about the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Fest. And we got tickets too. Stand by.
It's your money. And this is your Wake Up Call Market Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are falling after weaker than expected retail sales data added to concerns that growth remains uneven as policymakers consider raising interest rates as soon as next month. Nordstrom's lower today after following Macy's and posting tough results last quarter, renewing concerns that shoppers are skipping a trip to the mall and spending their money on cars, homes, and iPhones instead. The International Energy Agency has warned there is potential for a further drop in oil prices as stockpiles reach a record of nearly 3 billion barrels. The organization added that the return of Iran will intensify price competition. Here's how bad U.S. coal has it these days. The region that has for years burned the most coal also happens to be the windiest. The Great Plains states are increasingly turning to cheap wind power to generate electricity. And GoPro trading at a record low. The stock is down more than 60% this year as concern has mounted that the maker of wearable cameras is a single product company. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
Have you decided which TV you want to buy?
No, not really.
What about going to video only?
Well, I know they've got the best deals on the top-rated TVs, but I'm just looking for something basic and simple.
Oh, like a 32-inch TV for $169, or a 40-inch TV for $249.
Yeah, like that.
Or a 32-inch smart TV for $239, or a 40-inch smart TV for $349.
Now you're talking. Now, are those prices online or at the warehouse club?
Oh, no, those prices are at video only. They've got deals on budget price TVs, just like they do on the top-of-the-line models.
Really? Deals on budget and high-priced TVs?
Yeah, check them out, or...
I'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on HD TVs, Blu-rays, cameras, camcorders, and home theater systems. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Eugene, next to Costco, Video Only.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Okay, Ben, you tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades. I tell you how your seemingly innocuous decisions ultimately alter the course of your entire existence. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, on the train, do you A, order food, or B, get a drink?
Get a drink.
Nice. Coffee or beer?
Beer me.
Ooh, someone catches your eye. Say hello or find your seat?
Say hello.
She's a Beaver fan. I noticed you're wearing a duck hat.
Ugh.
Deal breaker or get her number?
Yeah, sure, get her number.
You get her digits. After 6 months of dating, you adopt a rescue dog and you name her Pork Chop. And 4 months later, you propose on the jumbo screen at the Civil War. She spills her drink on you. Boo. But says yes. Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah, want to know your kids' names? Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
While the name Westaurant Catering is a fairly new one, the people and brands behind it have played a key role in family and business functions for over 20 years. Put simply, with Westaurant Catering, you get experience and quality you can trust. Whatever the occasion, Westaurant Catering offers up tasty cuisine from all of its restaurants, including Mucho Gusto Mexican Kitchen, Bill and Tim's Barbecue, Dickie Joe's Burgers, and Dickie Yo's Frozen Treats. At Westront Catering, name the occasion. From rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions, business events, and holiday parties, to reunions, team celebrations, and more. And if you're ever in need of a caterer on short notice, we're the go-to place for shotgun weddings and other last-minute events. Call our catering director, Flint Livingston, today at 541-954-6303. Again, 541-954-6303. Westront Catering. Trusted in food and service.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've got light showers off and on across the valley, and temps out there right now are in the mid to low 40s with 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue, so there's a 40% shot at light showers off and on, thanks to a warm front that's been spreading over the area. Now, the bulk of the rain for the last day or so has been north of Portland, but this warm front will start to be taken over by a cold front Saturday afternoon. That cold front's bringing an 80% shot at showers with much cooler temps for Sunday, as well as anywhere between a half inch to a full inch of rain for the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Many benefits to having a new bed, and one of them is you will definitely, for about 2 or 3 or 4 days, your 4-year-old will incessantly want to jump on it and will want to sleep in it and will just want to be a part of it. And
then be disappointed when she can't bounce.
When she can't bounce.
Why won't the bed bounce, Dad?
I think the one cool thing, though, when you get a remote control into a kid's hands, or really anybody, because I have fun too with it, I think that's a good equalizer, because playing with the bed and then having the little vibration thing, which is not really, I mean, we haven't really used it that much, and I've had it for a couple of years.
Because it's sort of like that thing you used to have in a motel.
No, if it was that, and, if it was that much of a vibration.
Okay. Okay.
Ours is a little bit, not so
it's
much.
interesting. It just occurred to me that Brady, when we brought the Tempur-Pedic home, or when Sleep Train,
like it's
then
a baby.
Sleep Country, brought it, delivered it to the house, that Brady was wanting to put a glass of water or something on it and jump on it to see if it would tip over. Because in the commercials, it shows there is a glass of wine and people, flailing around on the bed, and the glass doesn't tip. So he was actually...
Did he do that?
No, I told him no, he could not.
Do that.
No, we won't be doing that.
What you can do, and we'll say, we'll give you kind of a little bit of a nudge, if you are in the market for a new, maybe you've got, a guest house or a guest room or something that you maybe need to upgrade in that department, go by and do it now, because you're saving money with the mattress price wars, but it's ending Sunday. And by the way, speaking of Tempur-Pedic, if you want to jump down there and check out the Tempur Breeze, you'll get a Visa gift card by mail worth up to $300 when you hit the movable base.
Nice.
And even 4 years interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic on approved credit with 48 equal monthly payments required. Go to Sleep Train today in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. Your ticket to a better night's sleep.
Hey, don't look at me. I didn't invite them. The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
8:40. Next week, Friday at this time, we're going to be like thinking, where's Jay? The last 2 Fridays we've had Jay in to talk about the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival, which goes on starting today and tomorrow to benefit Bags of Love and the Willamette Lane Foundation. And how many beers are we talking about?
We've got 65 breweries, which is probably going to represent about 135 to 140 different beers.
Wow.
Everybody brings at least 2, and some are going to bring their lineup, so that'll be kind of fun.
And how many cideries?
21 cideries, and there's quite a few bringing their lineup. I'm anticipating about 35 to 40 different cider products out there tonight and tomorrow. It's unreal.
And
Wow.
you look pretty laid back on the kickoff day. Are things going pretty well?
Things are going well. We set up yesterday, and it went smooth. As we're speaking, they're hauling in about the center of the festival area, staging area. We had a trade show last night, which is the other half of the trade show of the breweries and ciders. So 5 o'clock tonight, they'll be all set and ready to go. Place looks great. Hanging banners, tables are set, and we're ready to go.
So talk about how it should work. I mean, so people kind of have an idea when they get in there, what are they paying and what do they get?
Well, we're at the Wamalam Sports Complex on 32nd and Main Street, 250 32nd Street in Springfield. You go in the front entrance, and you kind of flow with the train. You get to the entry, and you pay $15. That'll get you in. That'll get you glassware and some beer tokens. And then you go into the gymnasium there, and you'll see this huge array of breweries and cideries. Walk around, pick out what you want to choose. There's a spin the wheel activity going on. I think it costs $1 or $2, and you spin the wheel, and you might get some glassware, some coasters, some keychains, a hat.
What about a keg?
No kegs.
Growlers?
Now, there's also going to be a merchandise store.
You avoided that growler question.
You can pick up growlers, yes.
Okay.
There's a merchandise store that the brewers and cider people will bring some merchandise. Like I said, people love that kind of material for gifts. So there'll be some items you can browse through: T-shirts, hats, growlers.
Okay, so I like asking the unfair question.
Sure.
For folks that are going to be going to this, is there a let's just say an unheralded brewery or cidery that you think, you know what, yeah, I ought to really go visit this one? This is not something that you normally hear about, this particular brew or this particular cider, fermenter.
And they get no herald.
Yeah, and they get no herald. None. No heralding.
Well, it's like asking a parent which kid does he like the best. I mean,
well, I know it's not asking what they like the best.
They're not listening, though. They're not going to be able to hear you, so
right.
you're not
Right. So which one?
Well, there's a couple of breweries that have brought some barrel-aged beers, and seek them out. They're gorgeous beers. It's unique, but we're reverting back to the old style of brewing when they didn't have stainless. Mm-hmm. They used oak barrels, and it takes time. So to get treated by having a couple of these available, seek them out, and you'll have quite a treat.
Now, maybe just, and we should say this because you've been very covert in your expertise. You are not just a beer aficionado, you are an expert. You are a student and a researcher and a lover of beer.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
Can you maybe pay me for this?
Maybe explain what barrel age for somebody that maybe doesn't know?
Well, barrel aged beers, I mean, when in the Renaissance, when they started brewing again, they didn't have stainless steel. They used oak barrels. And when you use oak barrels, there's quite a few things that happen. First of all, one of the enemies of beer is air, okay? Well, it's oak barrels, so the wood's breathing in. Actually, air is part of the process, okay? And number two, stainless steel doesn't impart an oaky flavor, or so you get that kind of creaminess vanilla flavor that gets introduced into the profile of the beer. A lot of the brewers are using bourbon barrels, so you also get a little hit to that, what was in there, and you get a nice little shock. So it's a gorgeous tasting product. When you are drinking this, treat yourself. Don't pour it into a straight wall glass that you might get at a pub or a restaurant. Pour it into an Oregon Pinot Noir glass. Be aggressive with it like a red wine. Shake it and get that nice foamy going to it. That's where your flavor profile comes from. And I'm here to tell you, I've done some classes with this, but that nice big old creamy vanilla bourbon barrel aged beer will match up very nicely with a garlicky pepper prime rib, without a doubt.
So typically, the barrel aged, are they doing that with ales? Are they more porters or stouts, or can you? I mean, does it work with just about anything?
It tends to go more towards the darker beers.
Yeah.
Because the flavor profile is the barrel. When you're talking about pale ales and IPAs and the imperial IPAs, the workhorse in that is the hops.
Right.
You start putting that in barrels, you kind of battles each other in the two flavors there.
If you could plan a course for somebody that maybe wanted to do it where it was, palate friendly, like a little tour, kind of where should they, if they can, kind of start, and then where should they end?
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah. So typically, I usually start with a Pilsner. Pilsner is very effervescent, has a tendency to kind of cleans the palate a little bit. Then maybe go into a Hefeweizen with a beer cheese soup, or an IPA with a beer cheese soup. Then go into maybe something like we just talked about for dinner. And then maybe you can go anywhere. Another porter for dessert with chocolate.
Oh, yeah, or stout.
Yes. Or you can even go maybe a very effervescent fruit-style beer with, ice cream or something. You can make beer floats with the stouts. Just the mocha flavor, the coffee chocolate of a porter or stout really blends well with the vanilla ice cream. Okay.
Yes, it does.
There are some out there with enough coffee chocolate flavors in them where I've actually used that as a liquid ingredient to a tiramisu. It generates great conversation.
Good idea.
And there's enough to make it work. And then I call it my beer masu. No.
I like that idea.
Yeah, a lot. Furthest that anyone has traveled to be at this particular festival?
We've got some breweries from San Diego area, Southern Cal, Washington, Montana. Big Sky's here from Montana. So they're all from the West Coast.
I guess what I'm getting at is there going to be anyone there that this is going to be maybe one of your only chances to, taste their particular product? Because I don't know what it is. There's some Oregon laws that keep certain beers from actually coming into our state where you can commercially buy them. So that's why
all the beers that are at the festival have been given the permission to come into our...
They're legal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are beers that I would love to have here, but we have to go through a wholesaler, and all the ones that you have are fine. So.
And their food is going to be there, and the lovely Haley Loren and musical entertainment. So you got pretty much a little bit of everything.
Haley Loren's going to be there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Tonight she'll be there.
She's awesome.
Tomorrow we have Fret Boys and Chris Hayes from the Huey Lewis and the News.
Huey Lewis.
Will be there.
Yeah.
And then who's our other guy? Is Michael Conley, a guitarist that I've not heard him play, but everybody has been raving about on the committee. So we've got four entertainers for the evenings, both two each night. Saturday, it's matinee, so the families are allowed to bring kids. We have balloon sculptors, so the guy that makes all the different kind of figures with balloons, face painting, Zany Zoo, I say that a few times, huh? And a puppet show. So there's a lot of activities for the kids, popcorn, soft drinks.
You didn't say there was going to be puppets there.
Yes. So
wow.
The minors are allowed to be there until 5, and then it becomes an adult-only show. You scoot them out.
But are there going to be puppets when the kids are gone? Come on, you got to keep the puppets. You're gonna have the adult puppet show.
Yes. There'll be plenty of them walking around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We have got TVs throughout.
Okay, that was next question.
For all the football games.
Yeah.
Friday night and Saturday. We also have on the website MCCBF, Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer website. There's a free coupon for a day pass on LTD bus. So if your transportation is via LTD,
that's a good idea.
They're coming to the show, coming to the festival. Just print it out, and you have a free ride on LTD. For
2 and free complimentary.
2 and free complimentary.
That's a great idea.
And tomorrow, so that'll be nice.
Very cool. What did we miss? Okay.
For those who can't do gluten, we do have 3 or 4 beers that are gluten-free, as well as all the cider products. But there are some gluten-free beers if you want to. Again, this is why we do this. You want to try it out, see how it tastes. The breweries want to see get your comments. But we have a few gluten-free beers as well as all the cideries there. We do have 5 new breweries visiting us this year. Wild Ride Brew from Bend, Man Cave from Eugene, Vagabond Brewery out of Salem, Uinta is visiting us from Utah. Anderson Valley, which has been around, but this is their first year here, out of California. And Riverbend, another one out of Redmond, is going to visit us. And Ciders, Carlton Works is visiting us for the first time. Dee's Wicked out of Spokane. Wandering Angus, Anthem, and Swift. So Portland breweries, cideries, are new to the event for us this year.
So Wandering Angus was here last week. Right. They came in here, and we were, knocked out. Right. Who was supposed to be here today? Just out of curiosity.
Ace Cider was supposed to be here today. They're a national organization. They're huge. They were the first ones to do a pumpkin cider. They've won quite a few awards.
Oh, and we missed the
And you
pumpkin
missed the
cider?
pumpkin cider. They also do a pineapple cider, which is just killer.
That does sound good.
Yeah, it is. But either he got lost through the maze of the Eugene roads or something, but he missed out.
Maybe he had too much pineapple.
Maybe he had too much pineapple last night as well.
All right. For somebody who is just turning on the radio, give us the big sell.
Well, the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival is on tonight from 5 to 11, and tomorrow from noon to 11. It's on 32nd and Main Street in Springfield. It's $15 to get in. Come in and have a great time.
How many people do you expect coming through?
We're expecting about 5,000 people. This event has really grown and grown fast in a short amount of time.
If somebody's not very sociable and they just want to drink some beer, is there like a window of time that they would have the best opportunity to do that?
So when I go to shows and I want to talk, I usually go to the early part. It's fresh, everything's there.
Yeah.
Brewers are usually kind of finishing up, setting up their tables, but the first part of the show, 5 to 7, is a good time to go.
And if people get there 6, 7, tomorrow 8, is there going to be...
There's plenty.
Still plenty?
There's plenty.
Okay.
I'd rather be a keg long than a cup short.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Like the way you think.
Great way to end it. Jane, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've got a couple of tickets that we want to give out right now. If you were listening in the 6 o'clock hour, we gave you the password. Word or sounds.
Onomatopoeia.
Don't give many clues.
What?
though.
What? You already did. It's an onomatopoeia.
KPNW, good morning. Who are you?
I'm Jason.
Jason, do you happen to know what we were looking for?
Brr.
And he even said it with the right intonation.
Inflection. Very nice.
Have you ever been to the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer?
Yes, I was there 2 years ago, or a year ago, or whatever. It was a year or two ago.
Okay.
The thing was, when I went, I didn't bring my wallet, so I couldn't drink anything.
Oh,
so my
no.
wife could. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to give you a couple of
years old.
couple of passes, but you've got to bring your wallet this time.
Bring your wallet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations. We're going to have you hang on the line here for a second while we get some information from you. Have a great weekend and enjoy the festival.
Thank you very much.
Again, it was Burr, and apparently Burr from Widmer will be there on hand. They'll be pouring it. Go by and say hi. We hardly recommend it. And that's going to do it. Have a great rest of your Friday, and have a great weekend, and we'll be back at it 6:05 Monday. Go Ducks.
Northwest Burger inside the 5th Street Market features burgers so amazing they're an experience all their own. Freshly ground meat and local produce combined with the creativity of local chef Garrett Kirsch makes for a burger experience like no other. You'll get mouth-watering goodness in every single bite. Check out their menu and photos on Facebook. Northwest Burger, located in the 5th Street Market. It's not just a burger, it's an experience.
Farmers, growers, anyone involved in the agriculture industry need to plan on coming to the 15th annual Willamette Valley Ag Expo, November 17th through the 19th in Albany. Over 160 vendors offering the latest innovations, equipment, and cost-saving ideas for your farm, ranch, orchard, or hobby farm. This show is a must-see because it's produced by the Willamette Valley Ag Expo Board, a nonprofit with a vested interest in your success. There's daily seminars and classes including core pesticide training, forklift certification, and more. This year, the antique farm equipment display is even larger and well worth seeing. Bring your family Wednesday night for the expanded Oregon Dine-Around. Ag Expo admission is just $4, includes a $2 discount on a chicken fried steak lunch each day. The 15th annual Willamette Valley Ag Expo at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center on I-5 at exit 234 in Albany. Show hours are Tuesday 9 to 6, Wednesday 10 to 9, and Thursday 10 to 5. Parking is free. More information online at wvaexpo.com or call 800-208-2168.
Northwest Alternative Health is a proud sponsor of the OMBC One-Day Cannabis Crash Course November 21st at the Ashland Hills Hotel in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. The OLCC rules come out in early November and applications will be accepted January 4th. Prepare yourself for recreational and changes in medical. With the industry's top business people, lawyers, and political experts, this one-day event is a recreational preparational for canna entrepreneurs. For more information, visit us online at OregonMBC.com.
This is your wake-up call.
Bring it down a couple of notches, because you're a little too happy.
Holloway and London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Looking for a new utility vehicle experience? Now during the Power to Do Great Things sales event, get a Kubota RTV-X, the best-selling diesel utility vehicle in the industry. They've earned their place by being durable and reliable. Now get a new RTV-X series for 0 down and 0% APR financing for 4 years. And for a limited time, get great customer instant rebates. Now through December 31st, 2015, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor, locally owned for 30 years, just 1.5 miles past the Beltline on Highway 99.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress. A mom. We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. It's not about paranoia.
Or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Weather every 10 minutes during the wake-up call. Count on it. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We've also got light showers off and on across the valley. Temps out there not bad as yesterday, only in the mid to low 40s. About 45 here in town. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue as a warm front moves over the area. That means highs will be in the mid to upper 50s out there with a high of 55 here in town. Another continued 40% shot at light showers off and on. We're tracking a powerful storm system and cold front set to move in Saturday evening, bringing anywhere between a half inch to a full inch over the weekend. Get ready. It looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
It's the latest wake-up call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Data today showed sales at retailers rose less than forecast last month as consumers pocketed the money saved from cheaper gas prices. Fed officials yesterday stressing that monetary policy should be tightened only gradually after interest rates are increased. Traders are currently pricing in a 64% chance of Fed rate increase next month. Stocks are lower today. Energy companies continuing a 3-day slide. Oil heading toward a second weekly decline as crude stockpiles reached records. Yum Brands moving higher on this down day. Same-store sales in its restaurants in China grew an estimated 5% last month. Yum recently bowed to activist pressure and agreed to separate its China business from its U.S. operations. And global deliveries at Volkswagen dropped in October as Europe's largest automaker struggled to contain the fallout from a cascade of emissions manipulation revelations. Deliveries fell 5.3% to 490,000 vehicles last month. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Public Policy Institute of California released a report this week that's full of great news. If you happen to be a
1120
According to their study,
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. No confirmation yet, but it's strongly believed the U.S. has taken out infamous ISIS terrorist Jihadi John.
If he is dead, that's a good thing, but it's like bin Laden. Bin Laden was killed, but Al-Qaeda has not been decimated. They're stronger.
Republican presidential candidate Lindsey Graham. Fox's John Decker's live at the White House.
According to a Pentagon spokesman, the airstrike by a U.S. drone took place in the ISIS stronghold of Raqqa. Its target, Mohammed Emwazi, also known as Jihadi John. Speaking from Baghdad moments ago, Army Colonel Steve Warren said that the Pentagon is reasonably certain that Emwazi was killed. And Secretary of State John Kerry reacted to the news while visiting Tunisia.
The terrorists associated with Daesh need to know this. Your days are numbered. and you will be defeated.
Emwazi was seen in several videos depicting the beheadings of hostages held by ISIS. Dave?
John, a Secret Service officer charged with trying to solicit a young girl for sex, waived a Delaware court appearance today. Lee Moore is accused of sexting and sending obscene pictures to who he thought was a 14-year-old. Turned out it was an undercover cop. A victory in court for the Penn State football coach turned convicted child molester. Fox's Jeff Manasso has the details live.
Dave, pension payments worth about $5,000 per month were taken away from Jerry Sandusky the day he was convicted of sexually abusing boys in 2012 and sentenced to decades in prison. But a Pennsylvania court rules the state wrongly concluded that Sandusky was a Penn State employee when he committed the crimes that were the basis for the pension forfeiture. Sandusky retired in 1999, and he'll now get retroactive payments plus interest. Dave.
Jeff, a new message to a killer still on the loose in Indiana.
We are coming.
State Police Superintendent Doug Carter still hunting whoever shot a pregnant woman, Amanda Blackburn, and the baby died. Her husband, a pastor, is not a suspect. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Unexpected. Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-719-2090. That's 800-719-2090. Don't wait. Call 800-719-2090.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
I'd say not too many people ready to swap places with Cowboys coach Jason Garrett these days. Not only is he having to right the ship of a 2-6 team and justify his owner adding a domestic abuser to the squad, he's now having to answer for a talented but volatile receiver who went off on a profanity-laced tirade yesterday because he didn't like the way an article was written about him. Coach Garrett today.
We didn't handle that situation the right way. Des didn't handle that situation the right way. You know, we have to understand the world that we live in, and we tried to make that abundantly clear to him and to our football team, and we're going to use this as an opportunity to get better and handle those situations better going forward.
Meanwhile, the Bills knocked off the Jets 22-17 to kick off Week 10 in the NFL. Both of those teams now 5-4, and Rex Ryan gets a win against his former team. Golden State improved to 2-0, best start in franchise history. Warriors beat the T-Wolves 129-116.
Take your classic or modern ride to a whole new level with a speed shop at Metalworks. Get full access to Holley, MST, Edelbrock, Willwood, Bard Morrison, GM Performance Engines, and more at guaranteed low prices. At Metalworks, we have performance and restoration experts on site to help you down the road. We're off West 11th at 1045 Aerosmith Street in Eugene. Take our website for a spin at metalworksclassics.com. Metalworks. Build your dream.
It's the Season of Savings event going on right now at the Hertz Car Sales Superstores. The better way to buy a car.
Hey folks, Scott Hoysh here from Hertz Car Sales of Eugene. Like many of you, I can't believe the calendar says November, but it does. And the best news about being November, the Season of Savings is underway at Hertz Car Sales Superstore, right here in Eugene. Our inventory has been growing steadily right here on West 11th in Eugene. We have a location and showroom full of late model cars, trucks, and SUVs. One place, nearly every make and model. Plus our Northwest Superstore inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles and loans for all types of credit situations. Don't miss the Season of Savings event, Hertz Car Sales Superstore, now through November 30th. Remember, Beltline and West 11th, where Hertz Car Sales will save you money.
It's the season and the savings are all yours. Stop in and see our biggest selection in years. On West 11th, just off the Beltline, and always online at HertzEugene.com. Hertz Car Sales of Eugene, the better way to buy a car.
For over 35 holidays, Sherry's has been making award-winning pies for Northwest families. Wrapped in their red and green boxes, Sherry's pies put a delicious exclamation point on your family's holiday meals. Because memorable holiday feasts get that way with freshly baked berry and pumpkin pies. They're also a great way to take folks' minds off the boss's flashing red tie at your office party. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Order your holiday pies at sherrys.com and take Sherry's pies home for the holidays.
It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.